big round of applause all the way from South Carolina, Heather Foss. And our jury table, which resides right here. The next 3 people are all on the jury table, overseeing and making sure all the rules and regulations of the referees and the lifters are being followed accordingly. They have more experience, the 3 of them put together, than almost everybody in the room. First referee from Atlanta, Georgia, Jamie Goodman. Multi-time world champion and world record holder from Boston, Massachusetts, Jill Arno. World record holder in the bench from Michigan. Big round of applause for Mr. Jack Marcus. And then we have our 3 referees and our technical controller. Our first side referee from Atlanta, Dana Bloomfield. Our other side referee from from South Carolina. A big round of applause for Mr. B.J. Foss. She's the better half, that Foss. And our chief referee, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Indiana. A big round of applause for Alex Walters. And last but certainly not least, my friend, my pal, all the way from Palm Bay, Florida, he came. Ladies and gentlemen, working almost every session. A big round of applause for Mr. Tony Lee Sr. And before you guys disperse, a big round of applause for the Blue Mountain Christian University spotters and loaders. Working harder than anybody up there. All right, report to your positions. We're going to start momentarily.
Alex.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped National Championship held here in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. This is session 1. We will have our 75 kilo, 82.5 kilo, and 90 kilo men and women. Starting us off, we have Nicole Thompson, who's up at 102.5 kilos. I'm here joined by Adriana Davis and Nick Stevens.
What's going on, everybody? We've got a solid matchup for everybody today. This is day 3, as Kevin said, of the 2024 USAPL Equipped National Championships. Nicole giving us a solid start off. Beautiful opening attempt, 3 white lights. Better. Ladies and gentlemen, if you all are tuning in for the action all day today, we do only have 2 sessions today. So we do have our all the rest of our women in our equipped full power sessions competing in this session here, and then in the subsequent session starting at, I believe, 12 o'clock, will be all of our male equipped competitors. Coming up next, Miss Natalia Marquez. Bar is loaded. And for those of you at home that might not know who we are, both Adriana, Kevin, and I are all USAPL coaches, commentators, obviously, competitors, and referees. So we in service to you all, we'll be trying to give you the best view of what's happening on the platform. Obviously, we are only seeing what you all see, but we will be giving you our best judgment as to what could be happening on the platform. From the coaching standpoint, we'll be giving you all some insight as to different attempt strategies, different techniques.
And for Natalia, who just went, that was unfortunately going to be a no lift. She got 2 red cards from both the center referee and the right side referee, indicating that she did not squat deep enough.
We see Jessica rocking a TSS competition shirt there. Always love to see Texas Strength Systems represented on the platform. They've been a very stalwart sponsor of USA Powerlifting. Looks like Jessica had a little bit of a bobble there on that attempt, and that's going to be a no lift. And so Kevin, Adriana, we saw red lights, obviously, so that does indicate a no lift. But what does the red box underneath that red light entail?
There are 3 different color card infractions that lifters can receive when issued a red light. A red card on the squat means that the lifter did not squat. Per rule book, the lifter has to, their hip crease has to fall below the top surface of the knee. And all 3 referees, left, right, and center, did not think that the lifter squatted low enough. Up next, we have Amy coming up to 160 kilos.
Amy competed earlier this year at the Masters Pro Series finals, where she placed 4th.
Amy, a multiple-time competitor on the national stage in more ways than one, in both raw and equipped. She actually competed at Carolina Primetime Equipped Nationals many years, many regional championships, many state championships out of Georgia. We see head coach Josh Ward in the corner there. Up next is a swell of support for Miss Olivia DeCanter. Looks like she's rocking a Blue Mountain Christian competition tee. Shout out to all of our folks at Blue Mountain Christian. They've done an excellent job providing our spotting loading team throughout the weekend.
As well as competing.
Absolutely. They've had competitors all throughout the week.
Olivia just started competing late last year in November, but has already been on the national stage, recently competed at Collegiate Nationals, and that was a good start for her today with 170 kilos.
All right, bars loaded now. Mr. Noah Barbosa. And I do stand corrected. We do have a mix of both men and women in this session here, as evidenced by Mr. Noah Barbosa. And Mr. Barbosa, he actually competed on day 1, session 3, in the equipped bench only portion. So we see him back now for the full power portion in the 75 kilo open weight class. So he's weighing just a little bit around 160, 165 in that ballpark.
Noah is also lifting in the junior division. He is 23 years of age.
And I know we talked about depth just a little bit, and that's evidenced by that hip crease being below the top surface of the knee. What are some other things that we're looking for, Adriana, from a referee standpoint, in terms of, so we already have depth satisfied. What are some other things we're looking for?
Yeah, and in the squat event, depth is going to be the most common infraction, just because it is difficult for these lifters to hit that required depth, especially when we're talking about equipped lifting. But some of the other infractions are going to include the blue card infraction. So that is going to entail lifters having an up-down motion of the bar on the way up, or not being fully locked out. So that could be in their hips or in their knees. And the final infraction card of the yellow card is kind of a catch-all. So if a lifter jumps a command, if they outright fail to lift, then that's going to include the yellow card.
Here's Mr. Michael Macri, rocking his Titan Super Centurion squat suit. Going to give a quick shout out to Titan Strength Systems. They've innovators, pioneers in the equipped powerlifting space and even in the raw powerlifting space. They were the first ones to create the first ever bench shirt, even.
And though this is an equipped session, we see Michael wearing knee sleeves in this division, which he is allowed to. Most commonly in equipped, we see lifters wearing squat suit and knee wraps.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, so knee sleeves can be used in the raw division, and knee wraps can add a bit more support, as we see here with Aiden Martinez coming up to 200 kilos. Knee wraps can add a bit more support to your knees, making it, increasing your ability to come up with weight and extend your knees.
Aiden Martinez had to get some help there for that one. And we were talking just a little bit about how getting down to that depth point is going to be tougher in the suit. Folks, if you're new to equipped powerlifting at home, those suits are made of a very, very thick, unforgiving canvas material, right? It's not super, super stretchy. In fact, it's not really stretchy at all. And so, effectively, you are squatting against the strength of the suit, if that makes sense. And so to be able to get down to that point, to be able to fight against the suit, to be able to meet that competition standard is just another one of those variables that our lifters have to take into account that even our raw lifters do not have to.
Yeah, and that is something that will make equipped lifting honestly very, very interesting to watch, because you're going to see a lot more missed lifts due to depth being harder to reach, and also just a lot more missed lifts on the basis that the equipment's hard to use. I mean, it takes a lot of practice, and it can lend to, like you said, it can be very unforgiving. It can lend to there being more misgrooves or just more mishaps that can happen when you're in this equipment.
Clearly, Azari has been here before. It's a beautiful opening attempt lift there. Let's check the replay on that. Oh, here's Mr. Martinez. So we see here, took his extra time getting down into that depth point. But when you're utilizing knee wraps as well as a squat suit, you're trying to get the most out of the suit and that equipment as possible. So you want to, well, there's actually two different schools of thought with that. There's folks that choose to go a little bit more slow, a little bit more controlled with their technique, just to make sure that everything is still in line. But then you've got those folks that are like, well, I've got to use the spring of that suit, so they go down super quickly. Very fast descent here. Up next is Jace Zachary, doing his equipped waddle up to the platform now. Very slow and controlled on the way down. Finds that depth point and uses the elasticity of both the suit and the knee wraps to his advantage. Fires himself on the way up. 3 white lights.
Jace is coming back as the returning junior equipped national champion, and he also recently placed bronze at collegiate nationals.
If you folks are watching over on the corner there, we see the pirate of powerlifting, Gino, keeping the energy on the platform for our lifters.
Larry coming up to 245 kilos, lifting 540 pounds at only 16 years of age.
Yep, and this is a big squat. He is also in the 75 kilo weight class. Oh. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift for Larry. And, I mean, with the equipment, there could have been some sort of misgroove that we couldn't see. We saw it many times last night in the first session of Equipped Nationals, where lifters seemingly missed a lift on strength. They go back, they make the proper adjustments to their squat suit or their knee wraps, maybe get them both a little bit tighter, and they're able to come back and hit that. So that does put Larry in a sticky situation, but hopefully he can come back and smoke it on his second attempt.
Absolutely. Coming up next here, Mr. Jaden Brown, 257.5 kilos, ladies and gents. That's 567 pounds for the product of Blue Mountain Christian. Jaden Brown.
This is just shy of 3.5 times his body weight.
Good grab there by the spotters and loaders.
Yeah, kind of the same story there as Larry, where we see them come down very, very slow, very controlled descent, which, like Nick said, is not out of the ordinary for equipped lifting. But then it just looked a bit heavy. Again, there could have been some sort of misgroove, so we're likely going to see Jaden repeat that on his second attempt.
Interesting thing that could possibly be a play here. We were talking about how unforgiving that suit is, right? And you almost need more weight on the bar to be able to push past the limits of the suit in order to get past, that depth point, in order to get the amount of spring coming out of the hole that you get out of those knee wraps. And so we might see lifters have a weight on the bar that might be a little bit out of the ordinary for them, but is on the bar so that it gets them to that depth point and gets them on the board. But that is one of the games that we are playing as handlers for equipped powerlifting is, well, how much do we want to put on the bar to ensure a solid attempt? Michael Haffenbrack.
Phenomenal squat there, 265 kilos. Gets one red card for depth, but it's still a good lift. And Michael is very experienced in the game, been competing a long, long time, and he's been coaching all weekend as well. So
24 years.
We are now back to the top of the order. We're commencing our second round of squats with Nicole Thompson, who has gone up 5 kilos to 107.5.
Nicole Thompson, one of our national level referees, or one of our referees is actually taking her national practical this weekend.
She will soon to be a Category 2 referee.
So not only do we have folks on the platform that, competitors, volunteers, but we have folks that are actively giving back to the sport on all levels, not just the state and the regional level, but at the national level as well. Excellent angle there by our Barbell Productions team. Shout out to Kevin Lamb, Bryce Lewis, Jan Dario, all of our folks that are making these angles possible for you all. Very stable walk out there for Nicole.
Hits depth.
and that's a good lift for Nicole. And greatly enough, that's already going to be a 7.5 kilo PR for her.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, she's another one of our lifters who has been working all weekend. I worked with her at the score table the first day of this entire weekend, and I mean, she's been, you know, giving it her all, and she's going to do that on the platform as well.
Nicole, and she's one of our Masters 1 lifters, so she's between the ages of 40 and 49. And to be at this stage, she doesn't have a super extensive, super background, or a super long background, only competing within the past 4 years. Her first meet was back in 2020.
Natalia looking to redeem herself after having missed her opening squat on depth. Retaking the same weight.
Has a big pause there at the bottom of her squat.
And I think right there, she was just trying to inch closer and closer and closer to that depth point, trying to get just under that point. And she is on the board now, 2-1. She did still get that one red light for depth, but only majority rules matter in this sport. So 2-1, she is on the board.
Yeah, and thankfully so. I mean, speaking of redemption, she is coming back from unfortunately bombing out at last year's Equipped Nationals, so hoping to have a better day here today. And she's starting off strong with getting that squat in.
Another story here with Jessica. She also missed her opening squat on depth. Is looking to redeem himself, but however, she has opted to go up 7.5 kilos to 162.5. Let's see how she handles this.
Very well,
it looked
in
better.
fact.
It looked a lot better. And that's kind of what Nick was talking about, where sometimes, I mean, in raw lifting, typically the notion is you miss a squat on depth, you're likely going to repeat it, right? But with equipped lifting, it's just a whole different ball game. I mean, you've got to have more weight on the bar in order to, like Nick said, reach the required depth, or sometimes get more out of the squat suit and knee wraps. Yeah, depth look great there.
Up next, Miss Amy Pancake.
For those of you watching at home, you can think of it like a rubber band. The more you stretch it, the more weight you add on the bar, the more reflex you get. So that can mean that, for instance, in Jessica's case, she going up in weight meant she was able to reach the appropriate depth and therefore satisfy the referee requirements.
Amy Pancake, a professional powerlifter herself. Multiple-time competitor in the equipped powerlifting space. Very well decorated. The motion itself was smooth, but it was going to be 2-to-1 on depth. So we see 2 red lights underneath the red circles. And she had a very fast descent here, but what we want to make sure is, do we satisfy that depth with the descent? And it is looking like, folks, there's a little bit of a crease sort of at the top of her thigh there, but that's not what the referees are looking at. They're looking at a little bit higher, kind of closer to where that belt is, because that is the true representation of where that hit crease is. So while it did move very well, and while there's definitely room to go up for the third attempt, it puts her in a very interesting situation. So we don't know what she's going to do. We're going to see what she puts in for her third attempt here. Will she keep the same weight? Will she go up? Here's Jaylee first.
Our Team 2 lifter, so she is actually just 17 years old, hanging in there with the open competitors, but unfortunately that is going to be another no lift based on not squatting deep enough.
I actually thought that one was good. And kind of, so in contrast to our competition yesterday, we have this is full power, right? So we do have, obviously we are squatting now, we're gonna bench in between, and then we will deadlift towards the end. When we're talking about the whole of the meet, right? Let's say we miss our second attempt here like Jaylee and Amy did. Do we elect to go up and try to get those kilos back? Or do we try and get as many completed lifts as possible, taking those small jumps, or no jumps at all?
It's going to be up to them, up to the lifters to have that conversation with their coaches, with their handlers.
Olivia Decanter with a phenomenal second attempt. 12.5 kilos up, so like we said, you can kind of you can kind of get away with some of those larger jumps, and even more so with equipped powerlifting, because it does allow you to put more weight on the bar comparative to your relative strength. Here's Mr. Noah Barbosa doing a little bit of double dipping here. He's already medaled in the equipped bench press only session, so now he's doing the full power. 12.5 kilos up. And it looks solid to me. 3 white lights.
Noah picks up another 12.5 kilos.
Aiden Martinez coming up behind. Going to retake that 200 kilo opener squat, so that's 440 pounds. And Aiden is one of our youngest competitors in the equipped full power portion. He is our equipped Team 1. So he's between the ages of 14 and 15, which when we're thinking about equipped powerlifting, we see a lot of folks that are in this discipline are a lot older, in our open categories, even into our masters categories. So to be able to get to this stage, this early on in life, in the Team 1 stage, is
And this is only
phenomenal.
Aiden's second meet as well.
And his first meet was only 3 months ago, so a very fast turnaround for him as well.
Yeah, we'll see how he handles this second attempt after missing that opener.
Let's go, Eden.
He did miss his opener on strength.
Let's see it. Oh.
It's going to be a no lift for him, unfortunately. And again, we're seeing that strength out of the hole. It's not there. And so what would you do if you were Aiden, Kevin, going into this third attempt? We've missed our first two on strength. What are you, as the handler, telling this lifter in order to get him right for the third attempt?
Again, powerlifting is one of those sports where you really have to have a short memory, right? You cannot get wound up thinking going into your third squat what just happened on your opener or your second attempt. You just have to attack that third attempt and really give it all you got. I mean, you're here at the national championship. It is your second meet. You're getting your experience on that national stage. So really just go at it, give it your all, and get it back on the third attempt. As we see here with Michael, he just added another 10 kilos to his second squat.
Michael electing to do sleeves. And so, like we were talking about, when you are doing equipped powerlifting, you actually have the option to not wear any equipment at all. We saw yesterday one of our powerlifters competing with our equipped guys without a single bit of equipment, no wraps, no suits, no shirts, nothing like that. So our lifters do have personal preference as to what they wear on the platform within the confines of the regulations. Here's Zaria Patterson.
Hailing out of Blue Mountain Christian, as well as many of our other competitors. She's recently coming off a big win at Collegiate Nationals and is actually also the reigning national champion in the open division, looking to pick up another title.
As evidenced by just the finesse in the technique with the squat here. Let's check it out.
Yeah, and she's very young as well. Like we said, she's hailing out of Blue Mountain, only 21 years old. And she is a phenomenal spotter and loader as well. I've seen her at many, many meets. Technique looked on point there.
Up next, Mr. Larry Sines looking to get on the board as well. He's going to retake that 245 kilo.
Larry, another one of our young competitors at only 16 years of age.
So, hi, Sophia.
Come on, Larry. Very shaky on the descent. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Let's see if the referees like that depth.
He fought through the sticking point, though. I'll give that to him, but
That's going to be 2-1, no lift there. And similarly to Aiden Martinez there,
yeah, and we can see on the replay that there was just a hair of up-down motion when he was fighting through that sticking point, and that puts him in a tough situation.
We saw two calls there. The center referee that called him for up and down movement of the bar, and the left referee called him for depth.
and it wasn't necessarily one of those misses where he went down into the bottom, tried to grind up for just like a split second and then gave up. No, he fought for that attempt, and he stood it up all the way. So that's a ton of energy sapped for a no lift. So I imagine it's going to be a bit of a tall order going into the third here. Jace Zachary makes short work at 257, though, 567 pounds.
Jace is in a bit of a battle here between him, Jaden Brown, and Michael Haffenbach, all within 12.5 kilos on the forecasted total in that open 75 kilo division.
Look at that depth there.
Yeah, that looked like a phenomenal squat out of Jace.
Again, in these close competitive battles, you can't be thinking too hard about trying to chase your other competitors when it's too early into the squats. You really want to build a total, make attempts, and go 3 for 3 in the squats.
Yeah, and that is especially important in equipped lifting, where we're going to see a lot more misses typically coming out of your competitors. So if you can make lifts throughout the entire competition, then that's going to put you in a really good position compared to your opposition. And speaking of missing lifts, Jaden Brown unfortunately missed his opener squat at 257.5 kilos. Looking to come back and get on the board by hitting this. Another lifter hailing out of Blue Mountain, so he's going to have a lot of support behind him.
Very, very young training age as well with Jaden Brown.
And that looked a lot better for Jaden.
Yeah, I mean, his opener, it seemed like a
didn't
missile
move.
strength. Yeah. And he's, again, with the equipment, unpredictable stuff like this happens. If this was the Raw division and a lifter were to miss their opener on strength, it would be much, much more difficult. But clearly he went in the back, talked to his handler, perhaps made the proper adjustments to his equipment, and he was able to smoke that second attempt with 257.5.
Did an extra revolution on the knee wraps before going back out.
And again, that's one of the more impressive things about equipped lifting. Not only does it take the strength to move all this weight, but you also have to work the technique, work the skill of learning how to move within that equipment.
All right, Michael Haffenbach here. Over 600 pounds for his second attempt, 275 kilos.
Our first 600-pound squat of the day.
He placed silver at last year's Equipped Nationals, but came away with a win in 2022 in Vegas, so he's looking to take that win back here today in Greenville, South Carolina. And that looked like a great squat. 2-1. And he gets those, picks up those extra 10 kilos, which, like we said, is going to be ever the more critical when you're in a battle like Michael is.
And ladies and gents, we are back to the top of the order now for our third and final squat attempts for Flight A. Flight C, excuse me. 115 kilos, locked and loaded for Miss Nicole Thompson. The focus. She is, as all of us these days say, locked in on this final squat attempt. 115 kilos, 253 pounds. Masters 1 age division, so between the ages of 40 and 49.
Nicole, one of those very well-rounded individuals involved in the sport. She is a meet director, referee, competitor, coach, all of the above.
What depth.
Phenomenal, and it was
what
easy
ease.
as well. Great job there, Nicole. Walking away with a 15-kilo squat PR. Awesome way to start out the day. 3 for 3 in the squat event. And I'm not surprised. I mean, she's a high-level referee herself, going to be taking her Category 2 exam later today. So, I mean, she's going to know how to uphold the standard.
I was going to say, and I wonder, and all of us being referees, it definitely adds to our training. You know, we know what these lifts look like. We know what the standard is because we've been seeing it every day. And so hopefully we can see the same from Ms. Natalia Marquez. 165 kilos, 363 pounds on the board after missing that opener. Depth is there. Can she find the way up? She does. And forget that I said anything about depth. Unfortunately, our head and side refs called that 2-1 no lift on depth. We can see this rear view now. That hip crease is just shy of breaking that top surface of the knee. And when we're talking about squat depth, I mean, we're talking, it's a game of millimeters, a game of nanometers even. And
yeah, I mean, most of these attempts are going to be close.
Exactly, and that's what we're looking, and that's why our referees are where they are. We do have all national level referees world-class referees, so they know what these calls look like. They know how to make those decisions at the highest level.
Got the fan cam here for Jessica, 170 kilos for a final attempt.
Very fast attempt.
Smokes it.
But was it depth?
Let's wait and see.
It was 2-1, so we did get that side ref calling that depth again. However, majority rules, 2-1. Very fast descent there. And it's a little bit different from our lifters that have a slower descent because you're actively watching that depth point. For our lifters that have a lot faster descent and really use the bounce, the elasticity of those knee wraps and the squat suit, it's a lot tougher to make that definitive call, and so she was able to come away with the depth, with 2-1. Amy Pancake still electing to go up 5 kilos after missing that second attempt on depth. Just like we were saying earlier, adding a little bit more weight might be able to get us to that point. Unfortunately, it's going to be no lift across the board once again on depth. And again, folks, if you're watching, we're not looking at the creases in the thigh below the belt. We're looking at that crease of where the belt is in relation to the top surface of the knee. And we see here that Amy was just a hair high of that point.
Thankfully, she is still on the board. She was able to get that opening attempt. So as long as she does the same in the bench and deadlift, she's going to be able to post a total, be in contention for placing.
Jaylee walking out 177.5. This is a retake. It's going to be a no lift for her. Good grab there by the spotters and loaders. And we can kind of, as a spotter and loader, especially on the national level where we want to make sure our athletes are safe at the highest standard, as soon as we see that bar start to descend in that path, it's rule of thumb, just grab it. And so we, while she could have likely fought for that, we want to make sure that she's safe, and we want to make sure that she has enough energy to move on for the rest of the meet. Here's Miss Olivia Decanter, 182.5 kilos, 402 pounds for the product of Blue Mountain Christian.
Having a great day so far. Going 2 for 2, looking to pick up that third squat.
Yeah, just 19 years old, been competing less than a year, trying to contend for a podium position in the Open. And looks like that was a great attempt call. 3 white lights, and she has gone 3 for 3 in the squat event.
And again, this is something we really want to see on our equipped lifting. We really want to see 3 for 3 on squats, build that positive momentum. That way you can go into bench with a great mindset, knowing that you hit all of your previous attempts.
Coming up next, Mr. Noah Barbosa, also looking to finish up a solid run of squatting. So we went 12.5 kilos from first to second attempt, even 10-kilo jump from second to third. And we see Noah Barbosa. He actually competed just a few short weeks ago at the Open World Cup. Glad to see him back here on the platform. Was that deep enough for our referees? It was not. 2-1. That's going to be a no lift on depth. Once again, the knees or the hips have to break parallel with the knees. And right there we see it was just parallel. And while it did move well, we want to be sure we get that extra few centimeters. All right, y'all, what's the over-under? Aiden Martinez coming up next. We have a retake of 200 kilos now. Aiden Martinez, this is going to be all or nothing here. If he does not post a lift in the squat, he will bomb out. And we'll talk just a little bit about that after this attempt. But let's see it, Aiden.
Oh, good catch from the spotters. I think he descended a little bit faster than his other attempts, so he was able to maybe try to get a little bit more stretch reflex out of the suit, and then unfortunately, he just reached that sticking point, started to fall forward, and the spotters were able to catch it.
Nonetheless, Aiden still has a very long career ahead of him. He's only 14 years of age. He still has plenty of meets, plenty of time to continue building and learn as he continues progressing in his powerlifting journey.
Here's Mr. Michael Macri, Masters 2 lifter, 212.5 kilos, 468 pounds. Michael's had a very extensive powerlifting career dating back all the way to 1988.
See if he can go 3 for 3. I think he's done it.
Something about experience in this sport, folks. Knowing how to react to different things on the platform, knowing how to perform
and call
execute.
The proper attempts as well. Looked like a great call for his third attempt. It was a little bit wobbly on the way up, but he was still able to fight it. There was no issue, no huge grind. So
Up
again,
next,
building that positive momentum leading into the rest of the meet.
we've got Zaria Patterson, bars loaded for her. And now, insane thing we want to note here, Zaria Patterson in our open equipped class with a forecasted dot score of 540.
This is a
540
big squat
pound
here.
dot. 540 dots points on the line for Zaria Patterson. That is world class.
Returning national champion in both the open division as well as at collegiate nationals just a few months ago. Looking to go 3 for 3. Depth looks good.
What a call. Quite literally the perfect call there. It wasn't too light, wasn't too, it definitely was heavy, but there was no slowing of the motion on the way up. It was a consistent speed. Technique held extremely well. Look at this, not a bit of breakdown at all.
Yeah, she is determined today. I mean, has that extensive experience on the national stage, even though she's only been competing since 2021.
Larry Saenz, similar situation here to his teammate, Aiden Martinez, got to get on the board with 245 kilos. Will we see it happen here, folks? 540 pounds for the Team 2 lifter.
Fights it up, but
And we remember,
it's just not going to go.
you remember Larry had that very, very big grind on the second, but it was not deep enough. So to be able to retake that and get the same effort, it was going to be a tall order. So unfortunately, both he and Aiden bomb out of the meet. And Kevin, what's bombing out?
Essentially, in powerlifting, you need to at least have one successful squat per discipline, or one successful good lift per discipline, meaning at least one good squat, one good bench, one good deadlift, in order to be able to post a total. In the case for Aiden or Larry, they were not able to post a successful squat attempt, therefore will not be able to post a total. However, this still means they can lift for the remainder of the day. This doesn't mean they're out of the competition and can no longer lift. They can continue to post up deadlifts and squat and benches. They just cannot post a total or medal in their division.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope we can see them come back in the bench and deadlift. We saw lifters yesterday who bombed out in the squat event coming back. And, I mean, it's just a good experience. I mean, you traveled all the way out here. You can still get the practice on the platform under the guise of the national and higher level referees. And especially as teen lifters, that's going to be ever the more invaluable.
Jaden Brown back on the board with 257 after that missed opener on strength. 5 kilos up. Looked just as easy. Almost pristine technique there.
Yeah,
3
that
white
looked
lights.
great.
What a redemption.
Yeah, I think on this opener there was just some sort of, there could have been a miss group we didn't see, or just some sort of mishap where he, I think, took the smart call in repeating that opener, getting it in, and then adding another 5 kilos here. And 5 kilos that he is going to need, because he is in a dogfight between him, Jace Zachary, and Michael Haffenbreck. Only forecasted 7.5 kilo spread between the three of them.
After Michael goes, I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. Jace Zachary, 589 pounds, ladies and germs. What a third attempt here for Jace Zachary, junior age division, as well as the open age division.
This would be a big, big squat PR for Jace, previously hitting 250 kilos.
Wow.
The fight comes and he's ready for it.
Great attempt. Let's see what the referees say. 3 white lights. That's a good lift.
Wow, what a phenomenal attempt there. And the last time he hit anything close to this was back in 2021. So 3 years in the making for 17.5 kilos. What a rewarding experience for Jace Zachary. He comes away 3 for 3 with all of his squats.
Up next, we have Michael Haffenbreck, who is currently leading the pack on squats in our 75 kilo men's equipped open division. He's going to attempt 280 kilos, 617 pounds for his third attempt.
And Michael Haffenbreck will be our last lifter in this flight before we move on to our second flight of powerlifters.
Michael's very, very experienced, having won national level meets before. Last year he placed silver though, and he's coming back for the gold. This would be 2.5 kilos under his all-time best squat. That looked like a great call.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Haffenbreck, what a beautiful third attempt there, 3 for 3 as well.
Rocking that Sam Houston State University shirt.
Yeah, and we can kind of start to see that battle begin to unfold between Michael, Jace, and Jaden. Michael and Jace going 3 for 3 in the squat event, having a big spread from their opener to their third attempt, whereas Jaden being forced to retake that opener and then just going up 5 kilos. It just made the spread between them very, very tight. And we're going to see that battle unfold leading into the bench and the deadlifts.
Moving right along, we have our flight D, our second flight of this session. Starting us off, we have Joy Black opening us up with 70 kilos.
Joy is a Masters 2 lifter, and she's also another one of our high-level USAPL referees. So she's got a lot of involvement in the game as well, and now is out here competing for a national championship. Looked like a very solid start to her day, and it is 3 white lights. That's a good lift. Elizabeth Taft coming up next. Another one of our referees giving back to the game. She's been working all weekend, and now ending off the last day of Youth Bench and Equipped Nationals by competing, hoping to set some PRs, maybe walk away with a big PR total. Alum of Northeastern Powerlifting, and they've got quite a team on them as well. 145 kilos for her opening attempt. Super speedy opener for her.
3 white lights, that was a good lift.
Elizabeth's competed at many collegiate nationals before, and this would be her second time competing in the open. She competed at last year's Equipped Nationals where she was able to place 5th. Up next is Brianna Massey, another lifter coming out of Blue Mountain Christian, as we hear from the crowd, getting that lovely, lovely support, opening up with 155 kilos. Steadying herself on the walkout there.
Very fast squat for Brianna. She gets 2-1.
Gets one red card from the side referee. So that referee did not think she squatted low enough, but again, majority rules in powerlifting, and she is on the board with that opening attempt. Up next is going to be Laura Sterland, Masters 3 lifter, opening up with 160 kilos. Freshly into the Masters 3 division as well. She's 60 years old.
Laura has an extensive career competing. She's been competing since 2001.
Oh no, and she gets a replace command. Now, from our angle, we weren't able to see how her knees looked, but I believe that chief referee was telling her there that her knees have got to be locked out in order to get the first command, the squat command, and she's got 10 seconds to get that command.
She gets the squat command just under 5 seconds. Bit of a bobble there coming out of the hole. Let's see what the referees say. Was there any up and down movement? 2-1, good lift. The left referee did call her for up and down movement of the bar. And again, what up and down means is once the lifter initiates the recovery from the squat back to a fully extended position, the bar can only move in one direction. If at any point there is any downward movement or any double dipping of the bar, that lift will not count. But in Laura's case, she did get 2 white lights, and that is a good lift.
Caitlin Huff, our Teen 2 lifter, opening up with 182.5 kilos, 400 pounds for the teenager. Had a bit of an unsteady walkout. Yeah, unfortunately for Caitlin, I mean, her walkout, it looked a bit shaky from the start. Her walking out with the squat, it was a bit shaky, and she steadied herself, but it was just a bit difficult. She hit that sticking point, and again, hopefully, we already see on LiftingCast, she is going to opt to repeat that attempt. And now, Caleb Franca, Team 1 lifter, 190 kilos on the bar for him.
That looked like a great attempt by Caleb. Very fast attempt, 3 white lights.
Yeah, it looked like a good opener from Caleb.
Up next, we have Caitlin Dunn, opening us up with 192.5 kilos. Caitlin is also one of our national level referees. She was volunteering and reffing earlier during our youth and bench only nationals.
Drove here all the way from Connecticut to compete and also just give back to the sport. 192.5 for her opening attempt. Well over 400 pounds. 424 pounds for her opening attempt.
Looks like he's representing Gleason Performance Training.
She placed third at last year's Equip Nationals. Unfortunately bombed out at her last meet, so looking for a bit of redemption here. And similar story to some of our other lifters. That lift is not going to be good. She didn't put up a big fight with it.
Sure.
So she came out of the hole, maybe just felt that the way that she came out of the hole was a bit off. Again, with the equipment, it is just so volatile. It's very, very technical. So maybe she just knew she wasn't going to get it, shook her head, let the spotters take it and say, hey, we're going to try again on our second attempt.
Here's Jerry Fredrickson, 468 pounds out of Midland University, being coached and handled by the one and the only Tim Anderson, longtime friend of USA Powerlifting. And I believe not newly minted, but one of our equipped bench press pro card holders. So he knows what powerlifting is. He knows what the bar should look like. And he does the same for his lifters. Jerry Fredrickson, that is a good lift. Coming up next, Miss Joy Black.
And while they're loading the bar for Joy, Jerry Fredrickson, even while being just 23 years old, she's forecasted ahead in the 82.5 kilo division.
Joy coming out to us from Nashville, Tennessee, being handled by Wade Johnson.
And she did compete on day one in our bench press only category as well. So another one of our athletes double dipping here. We even have lifters that are triple dipping later on in the flights today. So be sure to watch out for that.
Coming off her win at the Masters World Cup just this past May.
Another great attempt by Joy.
Yeah, and that's already a 5 kilo squat PR for her. She actually missed that weight at the Masters World Cup, so to have it move that
like a
move
5
that
kilo warm up.
Yeah, having that move so smoothly on her second attempt, and depth looks no question there. I mean, no surprise. She's a high level referee herself. She's gonna know how to uphold the standard. So I'm excited to see where she goes for her third.
Same here with Elizabeth Taft. Now, Elizabeth's been volunteering all weekend. Technical controller,
Score table,
among other things. So good to see her on the stage again. Another one of those lifters, again, just doing the business of powerlifting. It really does take a community with this sport. It takes a village and a lot of resources and a lot of things happening all at once for these lifters to have the experience that they're having now. And Elizabeth Taft, an integral part of that in more ways than one. What a second attempt there, Elizabeth Taft. 3 wide lights.
2 white lights.
2 white lights, excuse me.
She got
I couldn't see the third one.
She got 1 red card from the side referee. Now that's going to be on the opposite side than what we're looking at here.
And I could tell it was very close to kind of that borderline level. I mean, it was a good lift, but again, these are national level referees, so they are getting the best view, and they're experienced in making those calls when it really matters most. Coming up next, Miss Brianna Massey out of Blue Mountain Christian.
Big presence they have here today. You can hear the crowd, a lot of support for the Blue Mountain Christian University kids.
7.5 kilos up from her opener, which was a hair slow. So we'll see how she's able to adapt for this second attempt here. 358 pounds. Rocking a Titan Super Centurion squat suit. Again, shout out to Titan Support Systems.
Bring down the clock a little. Has 5 seconds to get that squat command.
Does it with 3 seconds to spare.
Oh. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift for Brianna. You did say that her opener moved a bit slow and then jumping up 7.5 kilos from there. So likely going to repeat that on her third, but we'll have to see.
We have Laura coming up next, our veteran in the game. As we mentioned earlier, she's been competing since 2001.
Laura Stryland, long-time powerlifter, very experienced on the platform here, going up 10 kilos. Masters 3 lifter.
And if we remember on her opening attempt, she actually had to replace the bar, so the referees did not think that she was fully locked out in the knees. So that could have thrown her off a little bit with her speed. So there she is, gets that squat command a little bit faster there. And
Very
it moved
solid
better.
lift there.
It moved better as well. So again, just facing a little bit of adversity there. Unfortunately, the speed was good, but the knees and the depth was not. So trying to look there for the depth.
We saw 2 calls there. Our left referee called her for soft knees, given that indicated by that blue card, and our right referee called her on depth, meaning that she did not believe Laura went deep enough.
The great thing is that she's got her opener on the board, especially after the mishap with her opener, with having to replace it and it being close on the up and down call. Now, Caitlin Huff missed her opening attempt, and not only was it just a bit slow like Laura's was, but she actually missed it on strength. So we're going to see how this 182.5 moves for her. Walkout looked a bit more steady there. Come on, Caitlin, find your way.
And unfortunately just gets stuck at that middle.
And that's a sticking point we've been seeing between a lot of our competitors who've been missing their lifts on strength. I mean, the squat suit and the knee reps do have a bit more help at the bottom of the lift, so you'll see lifters sometimes spring out of the hole and then they get towards that sticking point in the middle and it just won't go. Caitlin Dunn coming out had a bit of a similar sticking point on her opening attempt, missed it seemingly on strength. Now, she didn't have a super grinder with that lift, so perhaps conserved a bit of energy and trying to get on the board with this second attempt at 192.5. Nods her head in confidence. Oh, come on, Caitlin.
Wow.
Awesome job there. I almost thought she was going to lose it again. 2-1. It's a good lift.
Caitlin has done it with that lift. 192 is on the board.
Yeah, and she almost, I mean, if we're watching in the replay here, she comes down very slowly, finds that depth, and then coming out of the hole, the bar pauses, never goes down, pauses just slightly, but she's able to fight through that sticking point, almost kick into a second gear there coming out of the hole.
And that is just a testament to what Adriana had mentioned, how volatile equipped lifting can be.
Coming up next is Mr. Caleb Franca. His younger brother, Carson, competing on day 1 in the youth portion. Caleb Franca, where's the dreams that you've been after?
Oh, and I think he might have jumped the rat command.
And there's a little bit of up and downward motion as well. So we look at that. We're both right. We've got one call for a blue for a little bit of up and down motion, and then we've got a yellow card for that missed command there.
Yeah.
So Caleb is on the board. He's got 190.
And that's a blessing. That's a sigh of relief.
Yes. From there, would you go up?
Probably not. But I am coming from a more experienced background in raw lifting, equipped lifting. It's a whole different animal. We've seen lifters. We saw a lifter yesterday nearly bomb out and then go up 5 kilos on their third attempt and then was able to hit it. So equipped lifting, it's just a different beast.
And again, it just looked like he might have lost a little bit of balance, something that can be easily fixed going into the third attempt. Right now we have Jerry Fredrickson coming up to 220 kilos, just under 500 pounds at 485.
Very determined to fight through that sticking point.
And one of those lifters that's electing to go for one of those other styles of bar approaches, you know, definitely a lot faster on the descent there, using a lot more of that rapid elasticity versus And we're not saying she's not controlled, because the control is there for sure, but
Yeah, her form
less
was
of
honed
that
in.
slower tempo type descent.
Yeah, perhaps able to get a bit more of that stretch reflex out of the bottom of the hole by going down a bit faster than some of her fellow lifters.
Coming up next, Miss Joy Black. We're now at the top of the order. We're back to third attempts. So this will be Joy's last squat of the day, 181 pounds for the Masters 2 lifter.
Big squat PR for her. She missed 77.5 kilos at the Masters World Cup, was able to smoke that on her second attempt. Now looking to add 10 kilos to her all-time squat PR and go 3 for 3, building that momentum. Let's see it.
Wow.
Awesome job there
Good
for Joy
show,
Black.
Joy Black. 3 for 3.
Really great lifting from her thus far. Just an executionist on the day.
Joy Black, one of our few lifters to go 3 for 3 on squats thus far.
Yeah, and I think that just shows the level of, technique, execution, just good attempt selection that they've got.
Here's Miss Elizabeth Taft.
Another lifter trying to go 3 for 3, adding 5 kilos from her second attempt. This is 157.5. Competing many times on the national level stage, at collegiate nationals as well as open nationals last year.
And it looks like she's got a different design on her singlet for each attempt here. Listen, it works.
That looked like a great call.
Is that Cody?
Oh,
And
Unfortunately, it's going to be a no lift there on depth.
yeah, it looked like a good call based on strength, but if we're watching the hip crease in relation to the knee, it was close. It was very, very close. We saw in her second attempt that she kind of has this style where she comes down very controlled and then drops into the hole, and that can make for, sometimes it works, sometimes the depth is going to be undeniable, but with her it was just a bit closer, and she wasn't able to get that final squat attempt.
All right, Brianna Massey's up to the plate now, going to retake that 162.5, so that's 358 pounds.
If Brianna hits this, this would match her all-time best at 162.5 kilos.
Definitely taking your time to get set up under that bar there. Like we said, folks, with equipped powerlifting, it's all the more important that your technique is 100% sound at all times, because the slightest misgroove, the slightest lapse in timing could be the difference between a completed lift and a no lift. Brianna getting awful close to the shot clock here. She does get that start command before the timer. And she finds her way up. A little bit of a faster descent there, finds a little bit more bounce, and finds herself on the board as well with that 162.5 redemption. Let's watch it back again. Still decently slow and controlled, but comparatively faster than her prior two attempts. Great adjustment there. Glad to see her finish out 2 for 3. Up next, Miss Laura Steerland looking to do the same thing. Laura, one of those lifters with another extensive powerlifting career dating back all the way to 2001. 23 years on the platform, ladies and gentlemen. .170 kilos, 374 pounds.
Last competed at the Arnold back in March in the Masters Pro Series finals, where she was able to place 5th. All right, let's see her get redemption with 170. Oh, wow. And
Yep, that's going to be a soft knees as well, up and downward motion. So that's going to be a no lift. Out of the hole, he blasted off.
We've
See,
got a
good
lovely
shot of our
replay
head
there.
ref.
Indiana State Chair Alex Walters.
See Dana Bloomfield as well in the chair.
And again,
National
Laura's
referee out of Georgia.
Laura's attempt got a blue card, which can signify 2 calls, soft knees and up and down movement of the bar, both of which we saw.
Now, Caitlin Huff, another lifter in this very, very tough position. She almost looks emotional coming out here. And I would be too, Teen 2 lifter, facing just the tough situation of not having an attempt on the board.
She knows how much she needs this to stay in the meet at the national championship.
Here we go, Caitlin. Let's see it now. Blast off.
I think she almost went a little bit too slow in the hole there. Very, very unfortunate situation for Caitlin. But again, similar to our lifter in the first flight, who unfortunately bombed out, Caitlin can still come back and hit a bench deadlift PR, still get that invaluable national level experience.
Caleb Franca up next, looking to retake 195 kilos, 429 pounds. Coming to us as a Teen 1 lifter, 14 to 15 years of age.
He's able to find his way up. He jumped the rack command there, and he did also have a little bit of up and down motion.
But it counts.
But 2 to 1, it's a good lift. What redemption there.
It appeared as if he might have taken a step just a tad before that rack command, but he got 2 white lights, and it will be a good lift.
Yeah, he almost seems to. I mean, he's able to fight his way up. There's no up and down motion. And then right there at the top, yeah, it almost seems very simultaneous with that rack command. Kind of looked like he was losing his balance there, very similar to how he did on his second attempt. But he's able to lock it in, get redemption with that 195. And now Caitlin Dunn, thankfully, is on the board, was able to repeat her opener and get 192.5 in on her second attempt. Now going up to the big 200 kilo mark. Let's see it, Caitlin. Came here all the way from Connecticut and not for nothing.
Unfortunately, a no lift, 2 red lights with a red card on the side. The referees did not think she went low enough as we look at this replay.
Yeah, I mean, she's just, it's very, very difficult to tell that depth from the front angle as well. And that is why we saw that chief referee give a white light while the 2 sides gave the red. They've just got a much better view. Now, Gary Fredrickson just putting on a show here. 220 kilos on her second attempt, now going up to the big 227.5, otherwise known as 500 pounds, for her third and final attempt here. Oh my gosh, and oh my gosh, and I almost thought she was gonna fight through probably the 4th sticking point that she had on that lift. I mean, she dropped down very, very fast into the hole and just ran into about 4 or 5 different sticking points, and I thought she was gonna be able to finish out the lift, but it just wasn't there today. Yeah, you see her, just the look of determination on her face, not giving up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving right along into our flight E squats, our 3rd flight of the session. Starting us off, Susan Paxson, opening us up with 95 kilos, 209 pounds.
Masters 4 lifter Susan is 71 years old, opening up with over 200 pounds.
We see our spotters and loaders on the screen getting the bar ready for Susan. Bar is loaded.
She's returning as the reigning M4 national champion from last year's Equip Nationals.
very calm and collected in that walkout, getting her footing right.
Yeah, I mean, she's been competing since 2016, so just coming up on 8 years now. She's going to have the experience with that equipment.
Oh, unfortunately, a bit of a bobble coming out of the hole. Loses her balance.
Yeah, it looked like just a bit of a mistake there. Maybe coming down just a little bit too fast. I mean, she could be used to that. I haven't seen her training before, her previous competitions. But, yeah, it just looked like she, like you said, might have lost a little bit of balance there at the bottom.
Coming up next is Mr. Ross, counselor, 205 kilos. Ross is going for 451 pounds. In the men's open 90 kilo weight class. Bars loaded up next for Miss Kaolani Richardson. Masters 1 lifter out of Hawaii.
Returning national champion in both the Open and M1 division. She's actually the Nevada state chair, so another one of our lifters who has, I mean, just gives back to the sport in every way. Recently competed at the Open Arnold Pro Series Equip Finals, where she was able to podium, come away with a third place finish.
And I appreciate the flower in the ear there. 207.5 kilos, 457 pounds.
And that bar is starting to fall back on her. Good catch from the spotters there to notice that.
Unfortunately, that bar started to slip on her back.
Already got the squat command, so
Oops,
unfortunately that is why that is going to be a no lift. If that were to happen before the squat command, then she could have reset and got that finished. Man, and it just started to go way back there. Great job from everyone to keep their composure, keep our lifters safe.
And big shout out to our spotters and loaders who have been doing amazing work this entire week and keeping our lifters safe.
Katie Dodge being coached there by Team Roar. Another one of our lifters who recently competed at the Pro Series Equip Finals. She was able to walk away with a 5th place finish here. And in the Masters division, she is actually the winner of the Pro Series.
Representing Team Roar.
Yeah, she's got a lot of experience, been competing for 2 decades, opening up with 212.5.
Wow.
Easy. Very easy attempt. That's what I want to see from an opener.
And like you said, that's all experience, ladies and gents. Knowing what to put on the bar for that opening attempt, knowing what you need to get on the board first, and being able to execute at this speed even. It's very phenomenal there.
Katie is also a Category 2 referee. Also one of the lifters giving back to our sport here at USA Powerlifting.
£529 for Corey. Taking his time to get set up under the bar there, rocking the Titan Super Centurion squat suit.
Big brace there. Depth looks good, and the speed looks great as well. Three
Very
white
easy
lights.
squat.
It's a good lift. Just 10 kilos under his previous best.
Coming up next, Mr. Tristan Luna. Another one of our Teen 1 lifters, so super, super young, already being able to hang with the rest of the equipped folks in the junior and open and masters divisions. Let's see what he's got. Tristan Luna.
This is his second USA Powerlifting competition, having competed at the Texas High School State Championships just earlier this year in April.
.247.5 kilos, 545 pounds on Tristan's back here.
Wow, and what a
Absolutely
amazing
blows
squat
it up.
by Tristan.
3 white lights. It's a great lift. Oh, and he's fired up. Points to the crowd there. I'm
As he
excited to
should be.
see how he is by his third attempt, if that's how he's acting after his opener.
And again, he is 86.6 kilos.
So has got room to grow in that 90 kilo
About
class.
3 times his body weight.
Bar is loaded up next for Mr. Eric Cordero. Longtime supporter and competitor in equipped powerlifting, handled by Mr. Jim Battenfield. Both are national level referees. Eric Cordero, state chair of Massachusetts, head coach of Boston Latin Powerlifting.
Yeah, it gives back to the sport in many, many ways. Both Eric and his handler there. Oh, has to get reset with his setup, just making sure his arms are in the correct place. Drove here all the way from Boston, Massachusetts in order to both compete and give back to the sport. He's been working all weekend, and I believe he's going to be working in the later session as well.
Wow.
That was phenomenal.
Let's see what the referees say on
3 white light, 2 white lights, excuse me, still a good lift.
Last competed at last year's Equipped Nationals, where he was able to come away with a bronze medal position in the open class. And if we're taking a look at his body weight, he weighed in exactly at 90 kilos. I know he was having to cut into the class and to be that precise, and I wonder if he had to, had a little bit of a tough cut this morning. But, I mean, no indication there on his opener that there was any sort of struggle. The depth looked good. At least 2 of the judges agree. So excited to see where he goes from there.
Big old 300 for Jared. Taking us up to 661 pounds as an opening squat.
Jared is the reigning national champion, looking to come back for another title added to his resume. He's competed at the Arnold Pro Series finals twice. He actually won the Pro Series in 2023. This year walked away with a second place finish behind Jared Martin.
That was a very easy squat by Jared.
Very easy, but it was not deep enough, unfortunately.
It was also not the correct weight on the bar, oh, yes it was, sorry. It's tough to see with those plates, but there are in fact 5 red plates and a green and change on there. So that is 660 pounds on his back.
I mean, it moved so easily, but the side referees did not think he squatted low enough. So, I mean, it was so fast. It looked like a warm-up. So I will be interested to see where he goes on his second attempt.
Susan Paxson opting to retake 95 kilos as a second attempt squat. As we remember, Susan had a bit of a mishap on her opener. She lost a bit of balance coming out of the hole. Let's see if she can fix this. Again, Susan is a Masters 4 lifter in her 70s.
All right, let's see it, Susan. Let's get on the board here, trying to steady herself with her setup.
That was clean.
That looked a lot better. Oh, and unfortunately,
A no lift on
3
depth.
red lights.
Let's check that replay back. From our angle especially looked good, but again, we're only seeing that front view.
And that does put Susan in a very, very tough position like we've seen some of our other lifters been in. She's going to have to get that on her third attempt. Strength was no issue. And, I mean, she does have that style where not as common in equipment. She does have a little bit of a dive bomb into the hole. So I'm going to be interested to see how it looks on her third attempt. And now, Keilani Richardson, another lifter, trying to get on the board here, taking a repeat at 207.5 kilos.
As we remember, Keilani had the bar slip on her back, and unfortunately it was a no lift after because she got the squat command. Keilani taking her time during that setup. Walks out with the bar.
Very clean attempt there. Great bar speed for what was going to be an ideal opener if not for that mishap. So she is on the board, 207.5 kilos. Excellent attempt there for Keilani. Ross Counselor coming up next, 210 kilos, 462 pounds. We see the spotters and loaders adjusting the rack there. Per lifter preference, they are able to have the uprights of the rack tilted in, and that could be for any number of reasons. You know, maybe they have a walkout where the uprights would hit the weights on the way out. Maybe they have a little bit of a wider bar grip. That is per lifter preference. So bar is loaded for Ross. Very deep squat there for Ross. Almost went down at the hole a little bit too quickly. And it looked like we saw a lot of space with his knee wraps there. So I wonder if we're able to come back there and tighten those up a little bit. Ross can get that 210 kilos on the board.
Yeah, thankfully he's already got his opener in, so no worry there. And this is actually going to be his first crack at the national stage.
Coming up next, Miss Katie Dodge, 496 pounds, just knocking on the door of 500 pounds.
Very, very experienced lifter, having competed at many national championships as well as the Pro Series finals.
Very aggressive.
Yep. State chair of Nebraska as well.
We see Katie getting very aggressive on that walk. Oh. Fierce look on her face as she attacks 225 kilos. And makes easy work out of it.
2-1, that's a good lift. Yeah, the speed on that bar was absolutely phenomenal with 225 kilos. She's got the best personal squat of 233 kilos.
We saw Katie get one red light on each of her squat attempts from opposite sides.
You've got Mr. Tristan Luna going for an American record attempt, 556 pounds. Teen 1 lifter, one of our very young lads.
Making his debut on the national stage.
Easy. Awesome job there out of Tristan Luna. Again, his first time at the national stage, and he's walking away with an American record.
Gets one red light, but that does not matter. It's a good lift.
Yeah, awesome job out of him. Excited to see where he goes for his third attempt. I mean, just 14 or 15 years old and already walking away with a national record at his first national level meet.
£578 loaded up for Corey. 22.5 kilo increase from first to second attempt, which is a massive jump. 22.5 kilos. It's almost 50 pounds, ladies and gents.
And I mean, his opener was very, very fast. So let's see how he handles this big jump. Great, wonderful second attempt there. It was slower than his first attempt, but he didn't have to put in a ton of work. He didn't have to grind through the lift. He's definitely got more room in the tank.
I mean, he definitely picks up 22.5 kilos, so great selection. Still having a bit more left in the tank.
And
Up
some lifters
next.
are going to prefer taking those bigger jumps to kind of conserve energy throughout the day.
Up next, we have Eric Cordero being handled by Jim Battenfield.
Killer of a team there, bumping up 10 kilos from his opening attempt. 265 on the bar for Eric's second attempt. Just 7.5 kilos under his all-time best squat. Speed was great for its second attempt. Again, 2-1. It's a good lift. Gets 1 red card for depth, but he picks up those extra 10 kilos towards his total.
Good lift there for Eric, and then coming right behind is Mr. Jared Naquin, 310 kilos on the bar. Missed that opener on depth.
Opted to go up anyways by 10 kilos. And I mean, his opener was very fast.
Very
so
fast, yes.
it could be one of those situations where he does need a bit more weight on the bar in order to get him down lower. Former winner of the Pro Series Finals, returning national champion. Looking to pick up another title, but he has got to first get on the board. Very fast, but again, waiting to see what the judges say. And it's a good lift. 3 white lights for Jared. He is on the board with 310 kilos. Susan Paxson facing bomb out, having to come back and repeat her opener with 95 kilos twice. Her first attempt, she had a bit of a bobble, a bit of a misgroove, would you say, at the bottom, and missed it. Her second attempt, it was fast. She got it up, but did not squat deep enough. Just has to sink it a little bit lower. And if you're watching, I wonder if she switches up her style of kind of dive bombing into the hole, maybe having a bit of a controlled descent. Let's see how this goes.
Here we go, Susan. Masters 4 lifter. Oh, she buried that. Come on. Susan Paxson on the board. 3 white lights. Saves herself from the edge. Able to get on the board with 95 kilos. She can take a massive sigh of relief at this point going into bench press. And what a change in the mindset that is.
I mean, after having facing bomb out, right, needing to hit a third squat just to stay in the meet, that can really get in your head, having to switch up your game plan, having to retake your opener. But Susan gets it done and gets on the board.
Coming up next, Mr. Ross, counselor, 210 kilos.
Ross, having competed since 2021, is actually making his national stage debut here at the 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped Nationals in Greenville, South Carolina.
462 pounds. Ross Counselor been competing only for a few short years since 2021, already finding himself on the national stage, but unfortunately not able to find himself with that 210 kilo squat. So he'll still come away with 5 kilos. Again, 205 kilos, excuse me. So 5 kilos lost on the total can definitely be brought back. Let's say we just add another 2.5 to the bench, maybe 5 to the deadlift. So not a huge margin to have to battle back from for Ross. He is based on forecasted placings, and that's taking into account all completed squats as well as opening attempts that are currently in LiftingCast. He is slated 4th place for the men's open 90 kilos.
Keilani Richardson taking a 12.5 kilo jump to 220 kilos. Able to nail her second attempt squat.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you all are wanting to follow along for all of the action that you're seeing kind of behind the scenes here, all of the live attempt changes, all of the live attempt entries, different forecasted placings, rankings, and things like that, go on over to liftingcast.com/meets. Go ahead and scroll down to the 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped Nationals. And you're going to scroll down just a little bit, and you can choose any view that you want. So you can choose the board view, which is what we're seeing.
Oh, come on. Oh, can she finish
What a
the lift?
grind for Keilani.
Way to stick with it. 220 kilos is a good lift for Keilani Richardson.
Makes it undeniable for the referees as she gets 3 white lights.
Yeah,
Handler
great
Micah
comeback.
Marino.
Great comeback from that opener. That was just such a mishap, having that kind of scare with the bar slipping off her back, smoking on her second attempt, and then adding 12.5 kilos to that.
Just an excellent showcase of resilience there. And that was a very sizable jump there as well. That was 12.5 kilos from second to third. So she comes away with 220. Coming up next, Miss Katie Dodge, 235 kilos on the bar. And this is our first American record attempt of the day. Second American record attempt of the day, excuse me. 518 pounds for Katie Dodge.
And this would be a 2 kilo all-time PR for Katie Dodge. And those PRs, once you get deeper and deeper into the game, competing for much more years, those PRs are very, very hard to come by.
Exactly, and she's going up 10 kilos here.
Attempting a Masters 1 record.
Gonna have to grab it by the spotters and loaders there. What I think happened there, I think she might have just mistimed the descent. It looked like she stopped first and then realized, oh, might not be depth. Got to go a little bit lower, and I think that little misgroove there definitely took her out of her normal range of motion. But she is on the board. Katie is 225 kilos. Bar's getting loaded up next to Mr. Tristan Luna. 600 pounds on the bar for Tristan Luna. At the ripe young age of 15 years old with 600 pounds on his back. Solid run all the way through squats.
Yeah, 600 pounds.
Tristan has gone up 20 kilos from his second attempt.
And I mean, he made his second attempt fly, so let's see how this goes for him.
He's had a great day thus far. Oh, that's his finish, finish, finish. What a show that was.
Gets that rack command, and
it will be a
That
good
is a
lift.
good lift.
3 white lights.
Yeah, phenomenal lifting there from Tristan Luna on his debut to the national stage, walking away with a big American record of 600 pounds, 272.5. Great way to start the day. 3 white lights.
One of those instances where he has gone 3 for 3, is building solid momentum going into bench.
Up next, Mr. Corey going 600 as well.
Also trying to go 3 for 3 in the squat event. And another lifter who is making his debut to the national stage. This would be a huge squat PR for him. His previous best was 250 kilos. And he
Wow.
smoked that. I mean, it was a great lift. 3 white lights, just smooth all the way through for Corey.
Coming up to bat now. 272.5 kilos, hailing all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. Eric Cordero, 600.76 pounds on the bar.
Over 3 times his body weight.
And one of our lifters that hasn't been just chilling and relaxing all weekend. He has been working very, very hard behind the scenes, on the platform, adjudicating a lot of our sessions this weekend.
And working hard in training as well. And now he has come to showcase it on the platform. This would match his all-time best squat in competition.
And folks, Eric Cordero and Jared Naquin, those are going to be our last 2 squatters of this round of squats. So after Jared goes, we'll take a 10-minute break while we get set up for the bench press. Solid walkout for Eric.
Let's go. Smooth attempt at 600 pounds there. What are the judges going to say? 3 white lights. It's a good lift. His best attempt yet. His previous 2, he got 1 red light. His training looked quite a bit high, but he was able to make it count on the platform. Awesome job there from Eric Cordero.
Jared Naquin will be our last squat of the session, taking a 20-kilo jump to 330 kilos, our first 700-pound squat of the day.
$330 on the bar for Jared Naquin. It's really the battle of the Jareds. Jared Naquin, one of his biggest rivals is Jared Martin, another equipped standout in USA Powerlifting. Won the Arnold just 2 years ago. Very well decorated. Both are. We'll see if he's able to come back. This is a 20-kilo jump.
Oh,
it's going to be grabbed by the spotters and loaders. And we've seen, it was a pretty interesting session of squats we've seen thus far. And it's that much, and I mean, we see that with equipment, right? Equipment is very, as Adriana says, very volatile variable that we have to look at when we're judging these lifts and when we're watching these lifts. And it can add a lot of unpredictability. It can add a lot of different routes for all of our lifters to go in terms of attempt changes and everything like that. But we did have one American record broken. We had one American record broken
by Tristan
Luna. 600 pounds.
Great start to his debut to the national stage.
As a teen one. Teen one, 15 years old, 600 pounds on his back. Put him in your locker room with any of your football players in your high school. I guarantee you he can squat more than them. Lots of celebrations, emotions running high. There's that celebration for Tristan Luna. Phenomenal recap of our action here by our friends at Barbell Productions. Shout out to Bryce Lewis, Kevin Lamb, Jan Dario, Sophia Vedas, all the folks on or behind the scenes today making it happen. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going
I thought about that too, but the problem is. There was one right. It got lost. You know what he did do? I don't know why. I know why. He made the collar so thin because he wanted to play so close to this. Now it was to the knee. I think it's hard to have thicker sleeves. Didn't have much room. Hey, who knows what you do now? So, the only request that I have for you, even if it's local,
All right, folks, we are back live, locked and loaded for bench press, the 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped National Championships. We've already seen a ton of bench press action this weekend, starting off with the equipped bench only on Friday, raw bench only yesterday, and now we are getting our full power equipped bench pressing today. Starting off with Miss Jessica Alanis, 67.5 kilos on the bar for her, 148 pounds. For those of you watching at home, the equipped portion, or the bench press portion of equipped powerlifting involves the use of a bench press shirt. So we see as Jessica comes off the platform there, she's wearing a shirt that kind of pitches her shoulders forward, her arms in front of her body there, and that is the assistive equipment that the powerlifters will use in order to bench press today.
Nope, that's not in. That's not in. No, you're good. Bars loaded.
Bars loaded now for Miss Olivia Decanter, 80 kilos locked in.
Olivia is one of our lifters that's coming us from Blue Mountain Christian University. A big presence here at the Equipped National Championship. Olivia went 3 for 3 on her squats. We're going to open this up with 80 kilos on the bench.
Yep, starting out strong at her first presence at the Open National Championships. She just recently competed at Collegiate Nationals a few months ago.
Smooth opener by Olivia.
She competed equipped at Collegiate Nationals as well.
Nicole Thompson up next, another one of our lifters that got 3 successful squats earlier today, making us up with 82.5 kilos.
Out of San Jose, California.
Here's Miss Nicole Thompson taking her opener bench, 82.5 kilos, rocking the Titan F6.
Wow, very, very fast opener, and that is actually already going to be a 2.5 kilo PR for Nicole.
It looks like she's wearing a whole bench suit. I didn't know Titan made bench suits. Interesting. Coming up next, Aiden Martinez. 187 pounds now. Unfortunately, Aiden Martinez, one of our lifters in the squat rounds, not able to post one of those lifts. So he is out of the running for any placings today within the Team 175 class. However, we are glad to see him come back for the bench press because, like we say, we do prep for an entire powerlifting meet. We don't just prep for squat, bench, or deadlift, unless you're a bench only lifter.
And I believe Aiden had jumped the start command Unfortunately, that would be a no lift as he started to descend with the bar without having yet received the start from our chief referee, Alex Walters.
Yeah, and he kind of realized too. He brought the bar back up, and he had a look on his face that said, "Hey, I know the mistake I made," and he's going to come back and hit that on his second attempt.
Jay Lee up next with 90 kilos, 198 pounds as an opening bench.
Jaylee on the board with her opening attempts at 170 kilos. And a very clean opener bench at 90 kilos, 298 pounds, 3 white lights. Coming up next, Miss Natalia Marquez taking the same weight.
The bar is ready. Then Zariah.
5 kilos on the bar. He opened up with 95 kilos. And now is trying to have a spread of 10 kilos to his final. Now is trying to have a spread of 10 kilos to his final attempt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the final lift of session 1, day 3 of the 2024 USA Powerlifting National Championships for our Equipped division. It's been a great day thus far. 3 full power flights of equipped powerlifting. We've already gone through the squat and the bench, and now we are on to the deadlift. Thank you all for joining us back. We did have some technical difficulties starting out with the bench press, but we are back and we are live, giving you coverage of the action on the board here. Here's Ms. Jaylee Larivi. Very smooth opening attempt there. All right, looks like we are getting 325 pounds, or sorry, 330 pounds on the bar loaded.
That was a good lift for Jessica Alanis to start off her deadlifts.
And folks, as we get onto the deadlift, for those of you that this is their first time watching a powerlifting competition, the deadlift is I want to say the least complex of all of the power lifts to nail down in terms of the competition standard. You only have one command to abide by, and that is the down command. So in previous lifts in the squat and bench, you have until the bar is called loaded within your 1 minute allotted time to complete the lift. With this lift, you can start anytime you want within your timer beginning, bar is loaded. And as long as you initiate your lift before that timer runs out, you'll be fine. And then once the referee sees that you are completely locked out at the top, knees are fully locked, shoulders are behind the bar, much like Miss Natalia here. It's going to be a good lift. Up next, Olivia Decanter. She's taking 162.5 pounds. Or kilos, excuse me. And you're going to see a couple different options with the stances here for the deadlift. Olivia Decanter here electing to go for a sumo stance, so the feet are wider, a little bit closer to the end of the bar there, or the ends of the bar there. Hands are going to be inside the knees, and it's going to utilize a lot more of the glutes, the hamstrings, and the upper back musculature. Conversely, you got the conventional deadlift, where basically the exact opposite. Feet are going to be a lot closer together. Hands are going to be outside the knees. It's going to place a little bit more emphasis on the lower back as well as the quads. And lifters do have the option of doing both. Oftentimes the lifter chooses the form that works best for them, works best for their leverages. So that's just how their body reacts to the barbell in motion.
165 is super speedy for Aiden Martinez's opening deadlift. Starting out the deadlifts a lot better than he did in the squat event. Unfortunately, not able to get a lift there, so he won't be able to post a total, but I'm really glad he's starting out strong in the deadlifts, and hopefully we see him go 3 for 3.
It looks like we're getting a pretty sizable number loaded up here. 429 pounds on the bar. Hey, friends.
Thank you guys for joining us on the stream. 190 kilos is on the bar. Looks pretty good. Super speedy. That's what you want from an opener. An opener should be a lift that you know you're going to hit and you've got room to grow there. .200 kilos is being loaded on the bar for Noah Barbosa, our junior lifter in the 75 kilo division.
451 pounds, looks like. Unless I got that number completely wrong, which is wholly possible. But looks like a good lift for Noah Barbosa. 3 white lights. Oh, sorry, here's Noah Barbosa. Here's that replay for you. Very smooth on the way up there.
Very
Solid
strong
form.
lockout.
Good showcase of that conventional stance. And folks, if you're watching the deadlift here, we're going to see some differences with how that bar is going to move with each of the deadlift stances, right? So with the sumo stance, once the weight gets heavy and we start to see our lifters struggle, it's a lot more common for that bar to just kind of glue itself to the platform, but it does take that extra little bit of effort to get it off the floor, and lockout generally does come easier for those with the sumo deadlift. Again, the exact opposite case for the conventional deadlift. It's going to be a lot easier to come off the floor because you're using a lot more muscle groups in motion here. But once we get to that lockout point and you have to get past your thighs, that's where we find a lot of people start to falter with their forms, is right at that lockout point. Here's
Z
Zaria
or
Patterson.
Yep, Zaria Z Patterson, hailing out of Blue Mountain, opening up with 212.5 kilos. And that's a strong deadlift for her.
It looked almost too fast. I don't know if you saw her kind of fall onto her heels just a smidge there. Toes came up a little bit. Let's see this replay here. She came up so fast. Let's watch this here. And this is, wow. See her start to fall just a little bit to the
fall
feet there.
barely, but she's able to hold her composure. And no infractions were done there. It was still a great lift. Up next is going to be Michael Haffenbrack. 235 kilos on the bar for him. He's in the strong battle between him, Jace, Zachary, and Jaden Brown in the 75 kilo division.
We're going to see how he starts us off here. 512 pounds on the bar. It's going to be a good lift for Michael. Let's take some time and talk a little bit about the infractions that we're going to see with the deadlift here. So much like all the rest of our power lifts, there are infractions and rules that our lifters have to abide by. So we see Jace Zachary coming up, taking his opener.
This is 257.5 kilos. Easy.
Jace with a very smooth ascent there. So if any of our lifters were to get a red light and they were to have a red box underneath that, that would indicate a failure to maintain shoulders erect or having the knees completely locked at the very top. If we're looking at a blue light, or a red card with a blue box underneath. We're talking about using your thighs to assist the bar up. That's usually known as hitching or ramping. And that's basically just using your thighs as an extra support to allow the bar to make it to lock out. It's a very common thing you see in strongman. Obviously not allowed in raw powerlifting. And then the second blue light we could have is for up and downward motion, just like all the rest of our power lifts. And then again, yellow is, as Adriana Lecter says, is our catch-all. And so if our feet move, if there's any failure to abide by the down command, if if the lifter otherwise doesn't complete the lift, those will all go into the yellow card category.
Oh, and Jaden Brown is able to lock out the lift, but that's likely going to be a no lift for up and down motion. Yep, and that's how Gino explains that there. Jaden Brown is one of our lifters in that 75 kilo battle, and you can see
there.
Yep, right there.
2 actually.
Yep, he struggled there when he got to the knees. He hit that sticking point, and it was a struggle for him to get past. And what's interesting about that is he initially did have an opener at 272.5 kilos, bumped it up by 20 kilos, and then that's what ended up happening on his opener. So that will shake things up in the battle of the 75s. And we're going to see if he ends up repeating that lift. I imagine it would. It did look pretty tough, but you never know. We have seen lifters have lifts very similarly and then go up anyways.
LiftingCast is up and running.
Yep, and currently in that 75 kilo battle, we just got LiftingCast back up and running. So if you guys would like to check on that, you can see how the battles are unfolding. Currently, we've got Michael Haffenbrack, hasn't missed a lift yet, currently sitting at 705 kilos. Jace Zachary sitting at 700 kilos, also hasn't missed a lift. And then Jaden Brown not on the board yet, not able to get that opening attempt. If he did get that opening attempt, he would have been in the lead. He would have been at 710 kilos. So we'll have to see what happens on his second attempt. I think we do have a bit of a delay here as we are getting LiftingCast back up and running. They were using a local network out front so we could keep the meet moving. But getting back on the internet. We are going to jump into second attempts. There we go. Bars loaded for Nicole Thompson. 120 kilos on the bar for her second attempt. This is a California state record attempt, as Gino just announced. She's had a great day thus far. I mean, walking away with
7 for 7
yeah,
so far.
Getting a squat PR as well as a bench PR. And we're going to see if she's able to do that in the deadlifts as well. But surely, I mean, she's already secured a total PR. So she's just trying to add more to that, add the cherries on top. Let's go, Nicole. Beautiful.
And that's a state record. And this is only on her second attempt, so that means we're going to see another shot at that attempt come attempt 3. Coming up next, Miss Jaylee on the board with 140 kilos, that's 308 pounds. We're going to go up 5 kilos to 319 pounds. Ladies and gents, now that it is back up and running, if you all want to follow along with these placings, as they start to shake out per our lifters hitting their attempts, go ahead and head on over to liftingcast.com/meets. Scroll down to 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped National Championships.
That's going to be a good lift for Jaylee. The bar did seem to come forward a little bit when she was initiating the pull, but she was able to recover and get that second attempt on the board. Amy Pancake coming out next, 162.5 for her second attempt. Hasn't had the best day thus far in the squat event, only getting her opener, and same with the bench. Hopefully she can make a recovery here and go 3 for 3 in the deadlifts.
And again, with that sumo, going to be very slow off the floor, but once we get to lockout, it's going to be a little bit easier, as we see.
Great fight there from Amy.
I don't know that she would have another 2.5 in her. And one thing that we haven't seen too often, especially today, but we've seen it in prior days, is scratching an attempt. Can you talk about what that is?
Yeah, so we saw some lifters yesterday at the first session of Equip Nationals scratching their last attempt deadlifts. And scratching an attempt just means that you're going to put in 0 for the attempt. So you're not going to come out. They're going to actually skip your attempt. And we see that sometimes when lifters, if they get injured, unfortunately, or if they hit their second attempt and kind of say that, hey, that was all I had for the day, they're done. Maybe they already secured their winning total. They don't want to risk injury. You got to think about longevity of the sport too.
It's all about strategy, and everyone coming onto the platform has their own different strategy with, you know, how they've been training, how their handlers and coaches have been working with them. Another point to the individuality and variability you can see in USA Powerlifting. Olivia Decanter is up next. 12.5 kilos to 175.
She's had a phenomenal day thus far. And it continues.
8 for 8 thus far. And ladies and gents, if you've heard Adriana and I talking up to this point about forecasted placings, it's because of all of our lifters hadn't hit at least one of all 3 of their lifts. But now that everyone's hit their deadlift opener, we're going to start to see some of the placings shake out, especially as we get towards the male 75 kilo class. But first up, Miss Natalia Marquez, sitting in first for the junior 75s.
Fights her way up with 175 kilos to match her current best in the deadlifts.
And she is sitting currently 3rd overall. Here's Aiden Martinez. Now, Aiden, one of our lifters, unfortunately not one of those in the running for any of those placements. Unfortunately, wasn't able to post a squat. So at this point, he is now looking to get as many lifts on the board as he can to come away strong with this meet.
Walk away with more national level experience.
Yes, and both Aiden and Larry are Team 1 and Team 2 lifters, respectively. So these lads haven't even had their Sweet 16 yet, and they're already showing their heart on the national platform. And powerlifting's tough. It might look super easy. It might look super simple, just picking a weight off the floor and putting it back down. But there's a lot of preparation, months and months, hours and hours of preparation, blood, sweat, tears, all of the above to make this meet day happen for them. So they've got a long way to go in their careers.
Great second attempt there for Larry.
Ooh, be careful there, Larry. That's going to be 3 white lights, but we want to be sure we have control of the bar on the way down. That could be another one of our yellow cards. Let's watch here. Excellent on the pull there. He gets the down command, and we need full hands on the bar when that bar touches the floor. We did see his hands came off the bar, and it started to bounce just a little bit. At that point, it shows either no control over the bar or that you were kind of throwing the bar down. Both of those would constitute yellow lights. So something we want to watch out for as Larry gets on to his 3rd attempts here.
Noah, 215 kilos on the bar. Only has missed 1 lift thus far. Trying to add 15 kilos from his opener. And that moved great. Especially, I mean, it moved about the same as his opener.
Up next, we've got Mr. Michael Macri going up to 215 kilos, 475 pounds. Followed by Miss Zaria, Michael, Jace, and then Jaden to round out the flight.
Michael, 215 kilos on the bar, our Masters 2 lifter.
I was going to say, if you all were watching the screen there, you see in the right corner there, Sofia Betas, two-time national champion just this weekend. Pro card holder and winner of some cash. She will be my co-host for this upcoming session, so y'all stay tuned in. You see, she has done, you want to know someone who's done quite literally every single job there is in powerlifting. She's done everything on the platform aside from direct to meet. She's been on the jury, been on the highest stages, and even just this weekend, she's been trying her hand on the media side. She was switching the cameras over, and she's going to be my commentator later, and now she's working the roving cam.
Soraya Patterson, 220 kilos is smooth for her. Oh yeah, love the celebration. I mean, she's already sitting at a big 567.5 kilo total, looking to pick up another national title onto her resume.
Daria Patterson making the Blue Mountain Christians lads strong, the lads and ladies strong, making them proud. Here's Michael Haffenbrack.
Currently sitting at a 705 kilo total, so he is currently in the lead, given that Jaden Brown has not made a deadlift yet. But this would add 10 kilos to Michael's total, giving him a 715 kilo total. Let's see it.
Wow, what an attempt there. Great ability to lock the knees there.
Yeah, it almost looks like he's not going to lock the knees, and then he does at the last second. Could be something to watch for, especially when the lifts get heavier on his third attempt. But for now, it looks great. He is 8 for 8 on the day. And Jace Zachary is coming up next, going to be trying to do the exact same thing. Jumped up 15 kilos. This is 272.5. This would also give him 715 on the total. So provisionally putting himself into the lead over Michael Haffenbrack, given that Jace has body weight advantage. So he weighs lighter than Michael. So if they were to tie in the total, as they are about to when Jace makes the second attempt, then Jace would be in the lead.
And let's look at these attempts here. 15 kilo jump. Oh, and that's not going to get a down command. His hand was going to slip. Never mind. 2 to 1.
It's a good lift, and I believe he got the down command just at the right time. The hand was beginning to slip. Maybe the shoulders were not completely locked out. Watch his hand there, beginning to slip.
He did get the, so it was starting to slip.
Just in time. And so he got one red card, indicating that that referee did not think he was fully locked out in the shoulders. But he gets the lift, pulls provisionally into the lead, and now Jaden Brown opting to repeat his opener. Jaden Brown repeating 292.5. This would give him 710 in the total, so putting him in third place behind Michael and Jace, but he's played it safe here. The opener did look a bit difficult, so he's playing it safe, just repeating, trying to get on the board. Again, if he is not able to make a deadlift, then he would bomb out the competition.
So once he does get on the board, though, he does have a bit of a fight ahead of him with Jason Michael.
Okay, it looked so much better than his opening attempt.
We see the coach there, man. Come on, man.
Yep, that looked great. Jaden Brown is on the board, currently sitting in third place behind Michael and Jace. Jace currently in the lead after second attempts. We're going to see all of them, go for it on their third attempts. We could see some, we just saw a placeholder put in, surely, by Jaden Brown. Potentially not. He has put in a 320 kilo deadlift, and a placeholder indicates that he's trying to pull last out of the three. He's got the deadlift advantage, so he
looks like he's forcing Michael to increase his opener.
Yeah,
sorry.
we're going to see how that shakes up. I mean, Michael currently right now has in a 275-kilo deadlift, a 30-kilo jump.
Which
so
is a massive jump.
he could be bluffing there, just putting in something big that they know they're not going to come out for, but they're going to want to change that deadlift. The third attempt deadlift is the only attempt that while the competition is going, you can change during the actual lifting while your flight is going. You can make 2 changes to that, and that's where you see lifters jockeying around for positioning.
Nicole Thompson, third attempt deadlift here, adding on to her California state record.
Trying to go 9 for 9.
275 pounds, 9 for 9.
Phenomenal.
A master class.
Awesome job from Nicole Thompson, 9 for 9. PR squat, PR bench, PR total. Way to go.
And folks, like Adrian was saying, we're going to start to see some gamesmanship happen as we start to get into these last deadlifts here. A little bit of thought process here between Jaden and Michael later on in the flight. Michael initially put in that 275, which is a 30-kilo placeholder to put him at a 745 forecasted total. Jaden Brown responded in kind, putting in 320 as for a 737 kilo total. Jaylee
fighting it up with 150 kilos. Great way
lift
to end the day. 3 for 3 after only getting her squat opener, only getting her bench opener, ending the day off really strong there by getting all 3 of those deadlifts. We'd love to see it.
As we're getting towards the end of the flight here, those placeholder numbers that Michael and Jaden have for that 75 class, we might see those change. Those might be bluff numbers. And so Jaden does have the opportunity to pull last in this regard, so he will have final say as to what his deadlift is going to be. But Michael's going to have to make that decision first. Before we get there, though, Miss Amy Pancake.
Adding just 2.5 kilos. Her second attempt was a bit difficult, so I think this is the right call. And I think the bar, it was a little heavy, and the bar got ahead of her, so not a good combination. But she does end off with a 415 kilo total. And first place in the Masters 2 division, walking away national champion.
And then 4th place overall. Up next is Miss Jessica Alanis, going up 7.5 kilos. Currently slated 5th place in the Open 75s. .170 kilos, 374 pounds.
Jessica has been on the national stage before. This would be 2.5 kilos under her all-time deadlift PR. And it came off the ground so great, but she had that up and down movement. And
I appreciate the effort.
I really do. And I think she kind of knew that it wasn't going to go. Still ends off with an even 400 kilo total.
It's a 5 kilo jump, so about 11 pounds on the bar, another product of Blue Mountain Christian.
Looks so focused in the wings there. This would give her a 452.5 kilo total.
And not only that, but will secure
9 for 9.
a
There it is.
day.
Awesome execution from such a new lifter in the game. I mean, been competing for less than a year. And then
Any red lights there?
I don't think so. And walking away with 2nd place in the open division. Pretty dang good.
Bars loaded again for Natalia Marquez. She's going to take the same weight. Looks like the same jump as well. She's currently in 1st for the junior 75s and in 3rd for the open 75s. Can she finish? Yes, she can. It looked like that bar only paused. It didn't go back down. The judges think so too. That's going to be a good lift.
Great
3
way
white
to stick
lights.
with it.
Great celebration going into the wing there. Up next is Mr. Aiden Martinez. Looking to finish strong here. Currently 2 for 2 on deadlifts.
trying to end off the day on a high note.
Let's see what you got, Aiden. Get up there. Atta boy.
Great way to end the day. 3 white lights. Great job from Aiden. And that's why we love to see lifters who, you know, don't have the best start to the day come out and end the day really strong. I really like seeing lifters. It is unfortunate. I mean, we never want to see lifters bomb out, but it does happen early on, especially in squats, and especially with equipped lifting, with just the volatility of the equipment. But when they come back out for bench and deadlift, it makes a little bit for a redemption story, and it's really great to see.
Here's Miss Saria Patterson, also looking to cap off a great day thus far and to retain her national championship title with a 501-pound third attempt.
Yep, she's already secured the national title. Once again in the 75-kilo class, returning national champion. Picked up another one. Now trying to match her all-time deadlift PR. I think she can fight through this.
But we've got to see,
Not
from
gonna
there
go.
she started to fall forward. I wonder if we can get a side angle on that one. But once she got past the knees and she started shaking, that bar started to fall away from her. And it's just simple physics, folks. The farther away that bar is going to be, the harder it is for you to keep it up. Let's watch here. Right here.
Yeah, and I think she kind of knew. She shakes her head, just says it was a bit too much today. But again, still an awesome performance. 557 dot score, national champion. And Michael Macri took a big jump to 227.5, just wasn't there today. Ends off 8 for 9 still, and the winner of the Masters division.
Larry Sines is up next, taking the same weight, 501. Looking to finish strong after a pretty rough morning with squats. We're going to finish off the afternoon with deadlifts. Let's see if he can go 3 for 3 here. Again, with sumo, and sumo's definitely a lot more technical than conventional deadlifting, and so it's that much more important to maintain your technique even when it does get difficult like that. And so we saw, again, similar to Zaria, as we started to get towards that natural sticking point, we started to shake, our tech started to fall, and then once that bar falls away from us, it's a lot harder to recover. Up next is Noah Barbosa, going up 17 and a half kilos. $512 pounds. So we see a 15-kilo jump from first to second, 12 and a half from second to third. And it looks like he's been here before, ladies and gentlemen. Noah Barbosa. 3 white lights.
Yes,
a
and I
9 for
love
9
the
day. Or a
celebration.
8 for 9, excuse me.
Just missing that last squat, but again, like you said, walking weight 8 for 9. Really great job.
Second place in the juniors, 4th overall in the men's open equipped 75s. And now, folks, we're starting to see some battles here. We saw Michael Haffenbrack, who originally had 275, drop back down to 255. Jaden Brown still has not changed his third attempt yet. He's going to see if Michael even makes this attempt.
Yep, and neither has Jace Zachary. Currently, Michael sits in second place behind Jace Zachary on body weight.
And we'll put him in third.
They both have got a 715 kilo total. For now, he's pulling for provisional first, trying to add 10 kilos to his total. This will give him 725 kilos.
And now if he doesn't make this, it does solidify him.
Oh, come on, come on. Oh.
And that's going to be it, folks. We lost the grip right at the end there, so that's going to be a no lift. And with that, Michael Haffenbrack goes down to 715. We see Jace Zachary keeping his weight at 287. We're going to start watching the table here, the score table.
Yep,
Let's
we
see if
see an
can't
attempt
see
change
attempts.
going on right now. Jace Zachary originally had on 287.5, and he just changed down to 277.5. So again,
Knowing,
he's
he only
currently
needs that little bit to get to that first place spot.
Yeah, he's currently sitting in the lead, and now only taking a 5-kilo jump, trying to extend his lead, trying to make Jaden pull something that is just going to be out of reach.
And we're waiting for Jaden Brown's final attempt now. Jaden Brown's handler is waiting for Jay Zachary to see if he makes this attempt, because if not, Jaden Brown only needs to go up to 300 kilos on the bar in order to secure that first place spot. All right, so he sticks with it, able to find that lockout. 3 white lights.
And he
so
makes
that
it.
solidifies him 720 ahead of Michael Haffenbreck. And then we are watching diligently Jaden Brown. We do have an attempt change in progress. We do have one more attempt change in progress. Jaden Brown, he only needs 722.5, and he does. Drops right back down to 305, as I predicted.
Such a close
300.
battle here in the 75-kilo weight class.
And this is where the gamesmanship comes in, ladies and gentlemen. It takes the very last second to make those attempt changes, and lifters are able to change their attempts up until that bar is called loaded. So during that entire time while the bar is getting switched off, if it's a weight that needs to be put on or it takes extra time to get put on, that's more time that you have in order to get that bar loaded, and more time that you have to secure that the number on the bar is actually what you want to hit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Jaden Brown, this is it. This is for the natty. This is for the national
Pull for the
championship.
win. This is for his first national title.
Moving him from 3rd behind Michael Haffenbreck with 710 kilo total, all the way into 1st with a 722.5 kilo total.
Yep.
Just inching out Jay Zachary for that first place spot.
He doesn't care about 2nd place. He is putting all his chips to the board, trying to pull for the national title. Let's see it, Jaden.
Slow off the floor. Oh, ladies and gents, it's not going to go.
And we hear Jay Zachary in the back, who just became a national champion for the first time ever. Always a bit interesting when it's not the last puller who ends up winning. It was Jay Zachary who...
Exactly.
It was a dogfight all the way from opening attempts, from seeing those forecasted totals be so close between the 3, all the way to the end, and it shakes out that Jay Zachary, who was the only lifter out of the 3 to go 9 from 9, ending up with a 720 kilo total to walk away with the national title
And if you notice
in the 75
here,
kilo class.
If you notice here, Michael Haffenbreck and Jaden Brown, who were both pulling for that first place position, they were the only ones making those attempt changes, really. And both of them, in the midst of that gamesmanship, both of them missed that last attempt, leaving the door wide open for Jace to just sit back, wait, and see what happens here.
And Jace made a really good call as well. I mean, only jumping up 5 kilos, which seems like a very, very, it's a conservative call in the deadlifts, but he just had to put on an attempt that he knew he was going to make in order to push the lead so far ahead that Jaden Brown wasn't able to pull off the pull for the win.
Especially looking back at Jaden Brown's second attempt pull.
It looked great. It looked great.
It was great, but it was a lot slower. And you remember, he missed that opening attempt. He missed that opener on up and down motion, and it was a misgroove. That second attempt, while it was smooth, it was very, very hard. So that's a good eye for Jace to see that he only needed that much more to push Jaden to the edge in order to secure the win.
Yeah, and it's a difficult call too, because for Jace, you're not the last puller. You've got to end your day first. You've got to just put up the highest total you can and hope that it's enough. And it's a bit difficult ego-wise to say, hey, we're going to make this very conservative 5-kilo jump rather than putting on a more standard jump like 10 kilos. You think you got more in the tank, but they made a great call there, and it paid off.
And this all started with Michael Haffenbreck putting on a 3rd attempt that was way, way high. So it's all started with him. If he hadn't put that super high 3rd attempt in there, we might not have seen this battle play out the same way. Elizabeth Taft, 3 white lights. It's a good lift.
Yep, opened up super strong there.
Jerry Fredrickson, 155 kilos, 341 pounds, product of Midland University.
Great start off to the deadlifts for Gary or Jerry Fredrickson. Has had a great day thus
Gary
far.
or Jerry?
I am not sure. The way to the top and gets 2 white lights.
2 to 1, she has done it.
The side referee did not think she fully locked out her shoulders or her knees, but nonetheless, she's on the board, has secured at least 1 deadlift, so she's got a total in.
Here's Miss Laura Steerland, opening with 170 kilos, rocking the OG USA Powerlifting shirt. One of our very first logos. Laura Steerland having competed all the way back in 2001.
And this is actually an American record attempt for her in the Masters 3 82.5 kilo division.
Very clean attempt there. Very
Smooth,
smooth.
yep.
It didn't slow down. It was just a little bit slow. And that is okay. That still gives her plenty of room. Going into our next flight, or our next round of squat. Excuse me. Our next round of deadlifts here. Miss Joy Black's going to go up to 102.5 kilos, so a 7.5 kilo jump. She's currently slated as the gold medal winner for the Masters 2 equipped class, or Masters 2 equipped division.
She's very, very focused. This would be a 2.5 kilo all-time deadlift PR for her. Already secured the total PR in her opening attempt.
Very much appreciate the sloths. And you notice, folks, a lot of our lifters now have different socks on. They do have to have knee-high socks for the deadlift. And that's more for safety reasons and health considerations than anything. As you all know, if you are deadlifting, that bar is dragging awfully close to the shins and oftentimes can cut the shins up just a little bit. And so that's why we have the rule to have knee-high socks in place. That way we protect the shins and we protect the bar for the rest of our lifters.
Caitlin Huff coming up next. 130 kilos on the bar for her.
Here's Caitlin Huff now. Fortunately, not able to post a total here, so now she is just looking to get good lifts on the board. 130 kilos is going to be a good lift. Up next, Miss Elizabeth Taft, who's been working all weekend as both a referee and a technical controller.
$155 kilos on the bar for Elizabeth. This would give her a 415 kilo total.
Very
Yes.
clean.
3 white lights, clean lift.
Up next is Jerry Frederiksen, followed by Miss Brianna Massey, Caleb Franca, Caitlin Dunn, and Laura Steerland before we go on to our third attempts.
Gary's got 165 kilos on the bar. Pretty much already secured her win in the 82.5 kilo class. 3 white lights, good lift.
Bars loaded next, Brianna Massey. 363 pounds on the bar.
Has only had 1 miss so far on the day. This would give her a 405 kilo total.
Oh, it's going to be some up and downward motion for Brianna Massey, and I think she noticed it right at the top there. That's going to be a no lift, so we do see those blue lights in accordance with that up and down motion call.
Yeah, and you could tell on her face, she kind of knew at the top. I mean, she got it, like, it wasn't a strength issue, it wasn't like it didn't break the ground, so.
Right, very much more a misgroove, what we call it. And that's just a lapse in that technique where, like we
It's
said,
difficult
yep.
with the deadlift suit, very, very difficult. Three white lights, good lift for Kayla Franca. Caitlin Dunn, 10 kilos added to the bar here, 175. Her opener was a bit sticky towards the top, so I want to see how this moves for her. She's going to get a little bit more fired up given that it's the last lift of the day. You don't have to conserve any energy for any final lifts. And, I mean, she's just got that dog in her. She's going to get fired up either way. Got the dual cam here of Caitlin.
It's going to be a no lift. She got caught on her knees right. It almost looked like she hit her knees on the bar a little bit. And again, that's what we're seeing with what we call those misgrooves. Let's hope she's able to come back for that third attempt.
Laura Sterling. Now, she hit an American record attempt on her opener. So this should be another American record attempt in the Masters 3 division. And that looked
at
very
those
clean
knees.
for her.
3 white lights.
3 white lights, good lift.
And we are back to the top of the order, folks. 107 kilos. £237 for the Masters 2 powerlifter. Already slated in first place for the Masters 2 75 kilo class. Here she goes. Very slow on the way up here.
A great fight out of Joy Black. Phenomenal day for her. 3 white lights, good lift.
And Joy Black going 8 for 9, only missing that second attempt bench, able to come back for that third attempt. National champion. Followed by Miss Caitlin Huff, going up 30 kilos to 303 pounds. And this is to get Caitlin to end off on a solid note here. She did miss those openers, did miss those squats in the very beginning. It's a 7.5 kilo jump from her second to her third.
Trying to go 3 for 3 in the deadlifts. Oh, and I thought she was gonna do it. No lift for her. Does walk away with 130 kilos.
Right there, yep. It was a very big dip down, and I think right as she finished that quote-unquote dip, she knew it. Coming up right behind Elizabeth Taft, 162.5 kilos, 358 pounds.
Going for an all-time deadlift PR here.
Again, looking to go 3 for 3 on deadlift here. Currently your bronze medalist in the open 82.5 kilo class.
A great fight from her at the top.
Good show. 8 for 9, bronze medalist for the open 82.5 kilo equipped class. A solid day for Elizabeth Taft, on top of having worked all this weekend.
And traveling from far too. She's coming out of Boston, Massachusetts.
Brianna Massey going up 2.5 kilos to 363. She will be our first lifter from Blue Mountain Christian in this flight to finish up for the day. There we go, Brianna Massey getting set up here. And same thing we're seeing here, that same sticking point is very common with the sumo deadlift. Right as we get past the knees here, it's one of 2 common sticking points. Obviously, as we said earlier, you are going to find a little bit of difficulty coming out or immediately off the floor. Then once we start to shift towards different musculature, we start to get a little bit higher up on that vertical plane. We start to find some difficulties towards the knees right when our hips are about to lock out. But Brianna Massey will still come away your 4th place winner for the women's 82.5 kilo class. Jerry Fredrickson out of Midland University. Slated for first place in the open 82s by a very sizable margin. She's at 510 kilos at this point. then Caitlin Dunn is going to be your second place winner. She hits this, she will be at 400 and if she hits it, she'll be at 480 kilos. If not, she'll be at 470, which does show a pretty sizable gap, about 40 kilos, 40 plus kilos between Jerry and Caitlin. See if we can't get this 175 kilo, 385 lift back in blood. And again,
Same
once we get
sticking
past the
point
knees
again.
there. That's going to be a no lift. However, Caitlin, like I said, is your silver medalist with a 470 kilo total.
No more changes. Lifters in the next flight. No more changes to your openers.
Bars loaded now for Mr. Caleb Franco, 402 pounds. Your first place Team 1 equipped power lifter. And I'll say that again, folks, Team 1, so he's between the ages of 14 and 15.
Trying to end the day off strong.
With a 400-pound pull. Can he find his way to the top? He's able to find his way with a little bit of up and downward motion, and he threw the bar down just a little bit. So, and the head referee saw it. He gave them a blue light and a yellow card for both of those infractions. Let's see where that takes place right there.
Right there, just a bit of downward motion. Gets a little bit too excited, and then, yep.
Here's
Laura Sterling coming out for yet another American record attempt in the Masters 3 division.
And she had plenty of room for it. That second attempt was very smooth, very controlled. Weight was balanced over the feet. Let's see if Laura can finish the job. And she can.
She's a phenomenal deadlifter. I mean, all of her attempts look a bit hard, but just smooth all the way through. Great way to end the day for Laura.
And folks, we're on to our last round of deadlifts for this session. Our last 8 deadlifters are now making their way to the platform to solidify their day. And we've got a mixed group here, but these are our 90-kilo power lifters, both men and women. Starting off with Miss Susan Paxson. She's going to open with 237 pounds in the Masters 4 70 to 79 kilo weight class.
Susan started off with a big scare in the squat event, but she was able to get her final attempt in there and able to start off really strong in the deadlifts with 107.5.
That's 413 pounds, ladies and germs. Up next, or sorry, now we've got 413 pounds loaded. She is currently slated in first place in the 90-kilo equipped weight class per this attempt here. She's also slated for first in the Masters 1 division as well. It's Katie Dodge.
Oh, very, very focused, very hyped up. And the pace off, she hits a very smooth opener with 187.5.
And that sticks her on the board. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we don't necessarily know the entire story of the placings here. We won't until each of our lifters get through their openers. But at the moment, it does look like Katie Dodge is your first place medalist. And then Kaylani Richardson, at the moment, is your second place in both of those divisions. Kaylani hailing from Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Make sure you take the hat off. Tell me how to fit.
A very extensive powerlifting career. And that's evidenced by her setup, by the intention that she takes all the way down to the bar.
Yep, she doesn't rush her setup. She takes her time to get super focused.
Textbook. You want to talk about a textbook sumo deadlift? Look no further. Keolani Richardson. Write it down, take a screenshot, and send it to each one of your lifters and say, this is the picture. Corey is up next with 215 kilos. In second place provisionally in the open 90 kilo class for the men.
And this is his first time on the national stage as well. Hasn't missed a lift yet. Let's see how he starts off in the deadlifts.
Looks like he's being handled in the back by Nick Benrakis, one of our equipped bench competitors on Friday night. Very clean. I would say one of the more perfect in terms of attempts. One of the more perfect openers we've seen. I mean, it wasn't extremely fast. It wasn't air off the floor, but it also wasn't super hard. They didn't find any sticking points or anything like that. So plenty of room, plenty of data to move forward. And it looks like they are cleaning that bar off real quick. Looks like we got some blood on the bar, which it happens, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we have cleaning products.
And look how locked in and focused Eric Cordero is in the wings, coming out to a 220 kilo opening deadlift. Former Open national champion back in 2022 and returning Masters 1 champion, looking to pick up another title in the Masters 1 division.
Eric Cordero, state chair of Massachusetts, head coach of Boston Latin Powerlifting. Slated in first for the Masters 1, third in the 90 Open. Clean as a whistle. That was 3 wide lights. Coming up next is Mr. Tristan Luna, who, on his squat attempts, took that American record and is looking to do the exact same now on his opening deadlift. 518 pounds, 235 kilos. This will be an American record attempt for the Teen 1 age group. So he is at the youngest age division. Looking to start off deadlift strong here.
Great opener, secures yet another American record, and that also secures his total, which in turn secures the American record that he set in the squat event.
Ross Counselor right behind, 540 pounds. Once Ross and Jared take their opening deadlift attempts, we will then see what the tail of the tape is for these placements for the 90 kilo class. Ross Counselor, conventional stance, taking his time. Additionally, too, ladies and gents, there's different kinds of grips that our lifters can use on the deadlift bar. 2-to-1 is going to be a good lift for likely some up and downward motion. But folks are going to like to go double overhand, in which they may like to go hook grip, which is where you literally wrap your thumbs underneath the bar and you hook onto your thumb with the bar in between your fingers. It's a little bit tougher of a learning curve, I will say. Then you've got over-under grip, wherein you alternate palm up, palm down for the bar.
Jared
loaded for Jared.
McQuinn coming out to the bar with 262.5 kilos. This would give him already an 815 kilo total, pretty much locking up another national title. Oh my gosh, and just as I said he was about to lock up another title, he misses his opener. His grip started to slip in his left hand.
And now when it's grip that starts to fail, especially on that opener, what are some things you would tell that athlete going back?
I would tell them to go back in the room, focus up, and just lock in your grip. Just get better.
Just lock in.
Another strategy which isn't used as often in the sumo deadlifts because it can get caught up in the legs, but I myself and many other lifters use wrist wraps to kind of keep your grip solidified. It makes it harder to open up your hand. So I've seen it before where lifters go to the back, put on a little bit more chalk, throw on those wrist wraps. But I mean, Jared's pulled more than that before, so maybe he just set the bar a little bit incorrectly in his hand, and hopefully he can come back and smoke that on his second attempt. Very smooth attempt for Susan Paxson, 117.5 for her second attempt.
Up next is Katie Dodge, 200 kilos. Looking like your first place medalist at the moment here in both the Open and the Masters 1 classes. Keolani Richardson coming behind, followed by Eric Cordero and Corey and Ross. All right, bars loaded for Katie. Gets that head, gets the call that the bar is loaded from head referee Alex.
She's super fired up for this attempt. Yes, awesome attempt there from Katie Dodge. Yeah, you can tell she's very fired up. I mean, she added 12.5 kilos there, and it barely slowed her down. Currently sitting in first place in the Open 90 kilo division. And Keolani Richardson is, I mean, pretty close behind her.
17 kilos is not unheard of.
Yep, and she's coming out now attempting to add 10 kilos to her total.
Which would then shorten the gap to 7.5.
Exactly.
Katie's
so
577.
Yep, Katie's sitting at a 577.5 kilo total, while Keolani currently at 560, trying to go for 570 right now. This is 5 kilos under the best that Keolani has ever done in competition. It was good.
What a pull from Keolani. Again, putting on a showcase of what a sumo deadlift should look like. We see handler Micah Marino there, coach of Fight or Quit.
And we can see on the replay how smooth this attempt is now. In order for her to walk away with the win, Katie would have to miss her last attempt, and then Keolani would have to increase that attempt by 10 kilos. Or if Katie hits, Keolani would have to add even more kilos to her last pull. So we're going to see how that shakes out going into third attempt deadlifts.
As of right now, neither lifter has put in their thirds yet, or at least it's not loaded. So we're going to keep an eye on that and keep you all updated.
Now, Eric Cordero, former Open national champion, adding 10 kilos to his opening attempt, 230 kilos for his second. Difficult towards the top, but smooth all the way through for Eric Cordero. That gives Eric a 677.5 kilo total, just 7.5 kilos under his best.
Coming next is Corey with 512 pounds.
Corey's debut to the national stage is going very, very well thus far. And it continues to go well. Great, great attempts from Corey, adding another 17.5 kilos to his total.
Ross Counselor, your third place, provisional third place in the equipped open 90 kilo weight class, going up 10 kilos from 245 kilos.
Get up, drop the bombshell. This is out of control. Get up, this is out of control.
Here's Ross Counselor taking his time to get set up under that bar there.
This would actually already be a deadlift PR for Ross if he hits this. Oh,
He
can
find his
he
way to
lock
lock
it
out.
Oh
He's
my
able
gosh,
to
and
lock
it's a
it
big
out.
struggle.
And I am worried that there's going to be a hitch there. Yep, and the referee's going to call it there. So in that attempt there, Ross was using his thighs to kind of assist the bar all the way up to lockout. Let's catch the replay here. So we see the knees come back out under the bar once they start locking out. And then we see Ross kind of trying to hike the bar up his thighs there, and that's what we in the game call a hitch. So that will be a no lift, but he's on the board with that opener at 245.
And now Tristan Luna with yet another American record attempt. And I spoke too soon. He tried to add 25 kilos from his opener, but thankfully he got his opener, already got that deadlift American record. He's gonna try that again on his third attempt.
Bars loaded now for Mr. Jared Naquin, going to take his last deadlift attempt, next to last deadlift attempt, going to be retaking 262.5. Jared Naquin, you remember, missed that opener on grip. And he held on to it for sure.
I think he locked it up. 3 white lights, good lift for Jared.
And with that, he is all but certain to be your gold medalist in the open 90 kilo weight class with an 815 kilo total.
I mean, I don't know, Eric could put on over 100 kilos and pull for the win. Sorry. It could happen.
Anything can
Miracles happen. Miracles can happen.
Uh-oh, we've got an attempt change in progress here, ladies and gents. Miss Susan Paxson, already your gold medalist in the Masters 4. Yep, we're seeing the bar loaded with 134.5, and now 4.5 isn't one of those normal increments. And so she is going, and this is a world record attempt, so our first world record attempt of the day. We got to make sure we get all of our referees in the chair for this world record attempt. We do have to change the referees in the chair, so we need Category 1 referees that have been on the world stage to be able to adjudicate these lifts. In 134.5 kilos, that's 296 pounds for Susan Paxson.
Yeah, this is a huge deadlift attempt for Susan.
We're getting members from the jury there. Normally the members of the jury are Category 1 referees, but per national level rules, you have to have 6 in attendance for situations like this, exactly where you need world level referees both on the platform and on that jury.
And we had some attempt.
Now.
We had some attempt changes there, but I believe the world record attempt is still going to continue for Susan Paxson. There were some deadlift changes for Katie and Kelani in that 90 kilo battle.
And now I wonder if there was what they're debating about. I wonder if the bar was already loaded before they tried to put in that attempt change. I wonder if that's what the jury is debating about there. But either way, Susan Paxson is coming up for her world record attempt, 296 pounds.
I mean, this is a phenomenal attempt. This would be a 0.5 kilo PR for Susan and a new world record for her if she hits this. She did take a pretty big jump from her second attempt at 117.5. Nearly 300 pounds for the Masters forward lifter. Just not there today. I mean, she already locked up the national title in the Masters forward division. I think she kind of thought there, why not go for it?
Y'all, we're seeing some insane attempt changes here on LiftingCast. Y'all tune in, www.liftingcast.com/meet, scroll down to 2024 USA Powerlifting Equip Nationals, and scroll down to Flight E. We are seeing a battle play out between Katie and Keolani.
Yep, Katie and Kelani initially had an attempt, and then they're switching it around. You know, Kelani's going to end up pulling after Katie in order to try to pull ahead for the win. But for now, Katie has decided on a 207.5 kilo total. You see her coach, Josh Rohr, yelling in her ear. She's currently in the lead ahead of Kelani, sitting at a
placeholder third. She put in a placeholder third attempt to force Katie to go up.
Yep, and Katie, she has to go first. She has to finish her day first. So she's just trying to add kilos to her lead. And she does with 207.5, and looked like she had room in the tank too. 585 is going to be her total. Keolani's going to come up in just a few lifters to attempt to pull for a 587.5 kilo total.
Just inching her out by 2.5 kilos here.
Yep, that's going to be
but
some
if
fun.
Not,
then Katie's going to walk away with the championship.
So this is all or nothing here for Keolani Richardson. But first, we've got Eric Cordero coming in.
Eric is ready to go.
And there are attempt changes in progress, but I don't believe it's for Eric's weight, actually. So he is still going to take that 529, but we're waiting to see what Keolani does at the table there. We see head coach Micah Marino debating at the score table there. And now there's some interesting things that go along here. Keolani is able to change her attempt. However, she was going to take 240, which was the same weight that Eric Cordero had on the bar that was already loaded for him. But by some stretch of the imagination, they are dropping it back down to 238 pounds, or 238 kilos for a record attempt, and to allow Keolani Richardson the opportunity to pull for first. And because that is a lesser weight, Eric Cordero now has to wait after already being told his bar is loaded.
Yep,
because
so
Keolani had the same weight on the bar and is electing to change it, they now have to unload the bar, forcing Eric to step back a little bit, but also allowing Keolani the opportunity to pull for that win and for the record.
I see orange and I freaked out. I did the same thing.
All right.
Bars loaded. Locked and loaded for Keolani Richardson.
Finally loaded for Keolani Richardson, dropping down to 238 kilos.
It's possible that the score table might have put in 240.
Potentially, yes. And given lot number, if Keolani and Eric were to both attempt 240, Keolani would have to go after. But Keolani wanted to drop down to 238 because this would give her just 0.5 kilos over what Katie Dodge has. So she didn't want to attempt more than she had to. But now let's see this pull for the win. Kehlani Richardson, and it's just a bit too heavy. But
And
she had to
with
go
that-
for it. She already had silver medal locked up.
And ladies and gentlemen, at just the drop of a pin, Katie Dodge is your new national champion, edging out Kehlani with a 207.5 kilo total, 585 pounds. Had Kehlani gotten that, or 585 kilos, had Kehlani gotten that, she would have been at 587.5 kilos.
And now Eric Cordero locked in 240 kilos on the bar.
Back on the bar.
Back on the bar, yes, trying to go 8 for 9 on the day. This would give him a 687.5 kilo PR total. Let's see it, Eric Cordero.
What a finish.
He didn't drive down from Boston for nothing.
He came down to be the Equipped Masters 1 champion. And
Awesome
is in
job
your,
from Eric Cordero.
he's also your bronze medalist in the Open.
And when you've got as much experience as him, I mean, been competing for longer than I've personally been alive, those PRs are so hard to come by. So really great to see Eric come out here,
Good
work
celebration
all
in the
weekend,
corner.
go 8 for 9, and come away with a 2.5 kilo PR total, 687.5. Great work there.
Not to be outdone, Corey's up next as our second place finisher in the Open 90 kilo class. You see Coach Nick Benrakis in the corner. He finds
what a
his way to
phenomenal
lockout.
lift.
3 white lights, a
9
silver
for 9
medal.
at his first national championships. And that's difficult to do. As we can tell by the LiftingCast board, equipped lifting is interesting with all of the missed attempts, all of the mishaps that can happen. For Corey to come to his first nationals ever and go 9 for 9, 705 kilos.
Ladies and gents, we're coming up on our last 2 deadlifters of the day. Ross Counselor, Tristan Luna. Our last 2 deadlifters of the day. Tristan Luna already with an American record on his squat. But here's Ross Counselor looking to finish strong, going to retake 255 kilos. Two more lifters left before we finish out this session of 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped Nationals. Ross Counselor, let's see what he's got.
Putting the big fight with this on his second attempt.
562 pounds. He couldn't get it up without assisting on the thighs. Let's see if he's able to clean it up here.
Lock it in, Ross. Come on.
Oh, unfortunately, that's going to be another assist with the thighs there, what we call hitching. It's going to be a no lift across the board, those blue lights there. But still, Ross Counselor is going to be your 4th placer for the Open 90 kilo weight class. And ladies and gentlemen, another American record attempt for the Teen 1, Tristan Luna. Bar is loaded. We are looking at 573 pounds. Looking to end us on a solid note is Tristan Luna. 573 pounds, equipped Teen 1. 15 years old, already your gold medalist in the Teen 1. Let's see if he's able to lock up 2 American records in 2 different disciplines. Tristan Luna, what do we got? Oh, man, looks like caught him right at the knees there, ladies and gents. And what a run. What a run there. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end of our action for this session of the 2024 USA Powerlifting Equipped National Championships. And what an amazing first session it's been across the board. Records broken, hearts broken. I mean, if we're just looking over at the 75 kilo weight class, I mean, we had a phenomenal battle.
Jace Zachary walking away with the win there. But, I mean, between the other 2 competitors, Jaden Brown and Michael Haffenbrack, that was a phenomenal, tight battle to see all the way throughout all attempts that were so close. Jace walking away with his first win, his first national title win there.
And then moving on to flight E, even this past flight, the battle between Katie Dodge and Kehlani. What
Fantastic
a fight that was. It truly came down to the final deadlift, all the way down to an attempt change.
And even Eric Cordillera walking away with that 2.5 kilo PR. Jared Naquin walking away with yet another national title for the decorated lifter.
And ladies and gents, that's going to take us to the end of our action here. My name is Nick Stevens Jr.
And I'm Adriana Davis.
And we will see you for the next session. We'll see you at 2 o'clock.
Peace.
Come 10 feet high, nightmares call you can't deny. Better find a place to hide.